The black ash bond, matte against the skin, is the mark of the dreamer, and that of necromancy, a mark of desire or idealization. These marked are driven or flexible, but can also be prone to being cold-hearted, cruel, or defined by excessive hedonism. The bias surrounding this mark is that they are dangerous and unpredictable, rogues who favor the shadow, good allies and bad enemies. Prejudice has the black mark driven into a corner. They are the most trusted among their own bond, and distrusted outside of it. Belief into marginalization of individuals based on this perceived personality trait, literally engraved on their skin, has seeped into the very culture of the Ash Bonds. Welcome, travelers, to the Dragonleaf, the tea house where tales are told. Despite all these grim lore tidbits, the game is actually, super upbeat. See? Look. A bunny. Isn't it cute? If you like the content, leave a like in the tip jar and subscribe to our weekly tales. Leave a comment in the suggestion box to tell us how we did or how well we did not. Thank you for listening, and without further ado, it's time to open up shop. There they are.
Funny.
Welcome back.
That caught me by surprise. I hope I didn't ruin your intro.
This is all an act. They were in on it. Last time.
H, do we need to establish what a rabbit or a bunny is?
No. I don't.
It's like a water rabbit
is. Yeah, similar to a water bottle. Definitely.
He's a DM, not a preschool teacher. He doesn't need to teach them what rabbits are.
Yeah, what do you mean mobbits, right?
It was the pause afterwards. You're like, isn't that cute? And you're like, it just reminded me of like a kid's show where they're like, what's 2 + 2? And they're like waiting way too long for like the viewer to answer.
And then they just throw the answer away. Last time, defeating the Enthian Knight Errant, the Moonlight Blade, and escaping the dungeon, despite the fake seal in McGurmick's plans to have the party added to the list of casualties of it. The party had some R&R, and finished some errands. Jojo and Matilda attempted to meet with Eldath, but were unable to have the book translated at the moment. Seemingly she was busy in some way. Rather meeting with Jaeger and a goat-eyed woman who said she will act as interpreter of the book. Killian returned home to find the money she had left missing alongside Killig and his accoutrement, and continues to worry about her missing broodmate. Vincent goes to the Valentine Manor, attached to the Windwalker's estate, and meets with Carmina Valentine, who tells him that her little sister is beset by a form of possession by a creature named Rausch, and the cause is seemingly the very master of Mo, the imp, hidden in the dungeon, Schlader Kral. As they travel to Lavos to level their bonds, each of them finds their progress halted by a personal hindrance that awaits them. Lavos attempts to make sense of these cryptic visions as the party undergoes a mission. They arrive in the morning to an event funded by Vincent, an art fair put on for the Ilmater district, as the whole city, and placed within the Ilmater district. As they begin to enjoy the festivities, Matilda finds her raven-haired woman awaiting her behind a tree away from the fair, and as she approaches, a blade is drawn, and we jump back in. She stares at you, Matilda, now, and says, "Give me the book."
She's met with a cocked head and very persuasive silence.
The dagger moves slowly closer up towards your throat, kind of just like hemming the bottom of your neck, and as she holds it there, she says, "Do not fuck with me. I will find him, and you're not going to stop me, you and those freaks of yours."
I hope you understand this is not the protocol of a children's festival. We don't just stab people when there's little children around usually.
Well, it's not a stab, technically. It's a slit. And she begins to draw the slightest bit of blood. Take 1 point of slashing damage.
Ow. Can't give you the book.
She looks around. Sorry.
We can look at it together, maybe, if you put the date down? But it's from my patron, so no.
She looks at you for a second. She stares around the trees to make sure that nobody seems to be watching. You can hear the din of the crowd in the distance. She takes...
That's close enough to hear or see.
All of you roll perception. This is quite a difficult check, though. Matilda, you can actually also roll perception in this instant.
Okay.
I forgot Bladebeak's here. The paint over the eyes is making it difficult.
Yeah, exactly.
Adrian, would you be able to bring Vincent in onto the map so I can?
Yeah. Can you
Certainly,
bring me
I can
too?
actually bring you guys into. That
I
might
was
be
like,
useful.
where's my stuff?
Let me bring you into Amaranth.
Ooh. Right.
Okay. None of you notice this. Previously, the group of people and everything that's going on have kind of drawn your attention in various different directions. Jojo, you may still be playing chess.
Jojo's like in the back.
supervising.
There's children like climbing on top of her, trying to like dogpile her, but she's standing firm.
They're like, we need to take down the king, and you're just like, I will never fall.
Yeah, that's exactly what I think happened.
You see a few things, Matilda, as she's kind of, you see, she looks a little bit hectic and a little bit nervous and worried. As she brings the dagger up, you feel that little draw of blood, but as you kind of glance towards her, you see that her kind of like open doublet carries down to a small amulet that's just barely kind of like being held in the zipper, pretty much. And it's just the littlest bit of the top of her ash bond. Go ahead and roll religion. You have disadvantage, but because of other factors, this is a straight roll.
Oh, okay. Oh.
Ayo.
Well,
Ooh.
ayo.
Same roll, nat 20 this time. You recognize the symbol because it is a symbol that you see very frequently. Just the top corner of it, this is the symbol of Merkel, which is emblazoned in the front kind of parapet of the Reaper's Toll. Merkel's family home, literally a 2-second walk from your house. The
Really?
Grim Reaper himself. And the amulet seems to be, you see little bits on the top of it. You see a few gears that are interlocked, and then of like a silver leaf, but that's basically all you can make out from that.
Is it reminiscent of the ones that we saw before at the house that blew up and had the weird stuff happen?
From what you can currently glean, I'd say roll an investigation check. With the pieces, with the little tiny bit of the amulet that you can see, it would be, yeah, it's with the 17, you don't recognize the symbol itself, but you do note that it looks like a guild insignia of some kind. Interlocking gears with a silver leaf. But as she holds the dagger up, and you say basically like, I can't give it to you, go ahead and roll perception as well. You roll heavy morning. Or persuasion, not perception.
Persuasion. Oh, come on, Matilda, you can do it. You're very persuasive. Oh, never mind. No, you're not.
Don't fuck with me, I know how it works. Summon the book, hand it over, and I will walk away.
We're neighbors. Why don't we be friends instead?
I don't have friends. You have 10 seconds. After that, someone might notice, and I need to get rid of the evidence.
Okay, Matilda looks at them, and then she lets out a really big scream, and she falls backwards away, and starts to crawl away.
Roll a dexterity. Roll dexterity.
Oh, come on, Matilda!
Gonna be an attack roll versus your dexterity.
Come on, Matilda. Oh shoot. Hold on.
I'm in danger.
Yeah.
That's
Oh, yeah.
that number. You
Perfect,
begin
beautiful.
to let out a scream,
Will?
and as you jump back, you find nothing leaves your
Your
mouth.
throat, yeah. Damn.
Mostly because there is now a just line drawn across your neck, and as you begin to crawl, you can feel the warmth pouring down towards your
great.
chest. Backing up, you take 27 points of slashing damage.
Unconscious. Bye, guys.
What is your hit point total?
It is 23.
23?
You
Okay.
also have false life on you. Do you think?
Yes, which would bring that to... That's... You
Could
pretty
be
much... You should
potentially
always
higher
have
than
false
that.
life on you, because you have the Eldritch Invocation that allows it.
Okay.
So go ahead and roll your false life as well. This
You
might
could
be a
still
big
be out.
difference.
Sorry, guys. I didn't think to...
No, it's okay.
If you roll more than a 4 on this, because it's 1d4 plus 4, I believe. So if you roll more than... If you roll 1, you're good. It doesn't even matter. But let's see
Yeah.
how much you get.
Hey,
Max 8.
8. So you turn. The blood begins to pour down. The woman looks down at you for a brief moment. What do you do?
You have 4 hit points left.
I cast invisibility on myself. And I
So-
scramble away.
I'm going to roll a Constitution saving throw. Because technically you're not capable of speaking right now. Let's see if you can get these verbal components out.
Saving throw?
Constitution saving throw.
come on, Tilly.
Money, big money.
Oh,
Ooh.
no.
You bring your hand up
Darn.
and you attempt to inscribe the runes. You attempt to speak the verbal components, but without the combination of the two, the spell fails. The woman looks at you briefly, and now notes that you still continue to move. Kind of brings herself down to one knee quickly behind the tree. Goes for one last attack. You are prone.
Is there any way we can get another perception check? Because there's now a
The group can have a perception check. The crowd continues to listen in on this scenario. One more attack roll with advantage. Natural 20.
No way!
I tried to reveal it, but it just says DM rolled when I
Yeah.
reveal it.
Rude!
I will. It is natural 20. As the blade comes down, your breath leaves your body,
My instant die? Rude.
and you find yourself slowly becoming that little bit more cold. There's no amount of damage that she could do here that would not bring you to unconscious.
Yes.
However, as she jumps up, she begins to look at your body, various different locations. Do you have the physical book on you? It's in your messenger bag, yes?
It's in my messenger bag,
I'm
as
gonna
well
roll.
as all my random stuff that's just find teeth.
Yeah, just what the fuck? It does take her a good like 20-25 seconds to actually like she opens up the bag and begins, or she's searching your body before she manages to find the messenger bag, opens it up and goes to grab the book. Took her a little while. Everyone can have one more perception check.
I'm curious what we need to roll because the 22 before was.
She literally pulled Matilda away behind a tree in the corner. Like off to the side, away.
Yeah, I'm wondering if we would notice she's gone.
Killing!
Come
I
on,
don't know if that's
Kill.
gonna be enough though.
Yeah,
Natural
I rolled
20
a-
for a total of 20 was not enough.
Oh,
You
damn.
feel a light weight leave your hip as the book leaves your person. She places it against her chest and runs away.
Also, Lavos is here? What the fuck? God doesn't even notice that it's a patron? This person is like on the ground.
One thing you guys have taken note from, well, the gods that you've known, Killian and, well, all of you kind of with Lavos now, is that they seem a lot more mortal than anything.
Yeah, Lavos
They're-
couldn't
they're
even
very
teleport
powerful
with them, which
creatures.
He's just like, I know wizards that can do that.
Dude, I know children wizards that can do that. But like, especially like Krugek, for example, seems no more special than your average bugbear. A little bit larger, definitely like capable of felling a tree with a single movement of his hand, but in no way like omnipotent, like gods have been expressed to be in the past. They are definitely faulty. They definitely have fault, rather, as opposed to being like, gods are broken, yo.
I mean, they kind of are.
A little bit. But
Okay.
as we cycle around, Matilda, you find yourself in the grass for a brief moment.
How, instead of this being like, we see everything that had gone on, how long before we would, like, Matilda's with us. It's not like a huge thing. There's like 2 tents set up and there's a couple kids running around.
All of this at current had taken place within less than a minute.
I know. That's what I'm saying. How long until we would notice that she's gone?
But here's instead of fast tracking forward, I'm gonna say this. Everybody roll spotlight. Meanwhile, in sheer antithesis to what had just happened, music and drums begin to play throughout the area. And Vincent, you look over to see a small group of people who have just taken out drums and just begin to play in the corner. See that they're wearing this kind of like almost ceremonial garb. It seems to be like very, very flowing clothing, but in no way like Cyrenan as far as you can tell. Seems very, very like foreign styles, and it's very interesting. But as the music continues to bellow out throughout the area, Matilda, the spotlight here kind of shuffles just to the side for a moment. You find yourself kind of in this small pile. And as the warmth continues to leave your body, you find yourself growing that slight bit more cold. The ash continues to fall around you. One kind of fleck lands on your nose and leaves your sight. What do you do in this moment?
I think she probably coughs because that probably doesn't feel good on her throat. And she closes her eyes and asks someone in her head to help. Whoever decides to answer, she doesn't care. She's like, help me.
Roll religion. Mitra and Faust, in the back of your mind, begin to laugh at the prospect of their new collection. This new item that will be coming to them in short form. And with your book separate from you, you feel your connection to this celestial being severed. Jojo. As you are standing, a tall statue, you notice in the corner of your eye an interesting figure with your previous perception check. It's your mother. She stands along a half-dozen researchers. There's several knights that are attempting to cover her with a large blanket, holding it up and over her. You see she's wearing some kind of a strange headdress that you don't recognize, and they're moving through the park to the other side. Actually, they're not in the park, just on the road to the north of the park, making their way through to the northern sector of the city.
What? Hang on. She starts not throwing kids off of her, but like grabbing them, putting them down. And like there's another one who's trying to climb it, and she's like, hey, wait, game over. She's like pushing their face away. She starts heading in that direction. Next time, dragon.
You have defeated me. I don't earn the right to take that title anymore. And you just rush off. You see the kid standing there, turns around and just dive bombs another kid in the side, and they start harassing. But as you make your way through to the north, you begin to approach, and the knights pull spears, immediately pointing towards you. But you hear quickly in the background a voice of just, hold, stop. And the knight's kind of looking back for a brief moment, pull the spears back, and then she just peeks her head out, just, come in. And just leans back. Literally just a tarp that's being held over you, kind of blocking the sun almost.
I imagine she has to like duck to get under there with her mom.
Your butt's kind of sticking out of it at this point. And she's like,
what's going on? What is this, Mom?
I said, I can't talk very much right now. We're on our way to do something, and I don't want to, just find me.
Oh, that's the tower that we met last time?
No. I'll see you soon. If you're lucky. And she hands you a card.
Lucky? Well, what the? Yeah, okay.
She looks at you again and says, if you're lucky. And then hands you the card. You take it, you look at it, flip it around. It is a card of Cisco's. It has it's a stamp card of Cisco's full of stamps. Aha! And in the bottom right corner, it has a small notch, like poked out of it, a small just circular notch, as though hit with a hole punch.
Could I, is it like an insight or an investigation to see if I can find the meaning behind if you're lucky? Oh, it's probably one of the contests at Cisco's.
This would be an investigation check.
Okay.
Also, I use investigation sometimes like in the background to be like, this is, like a lot of the time it seems like it could be perception, but I'm like, I know there's a clue.
Ooh, 23.
And I want to see if you guys are capable of like discerning the clue. It's a weird one. Perception and investigation are fun. But 23. You immediately recall, like looking at the card, there seems to be some kind of interest with this card. Like you've never seen a card with a hole punched out of the bottom right corner. Like that's an interesting thing already. The position of the stamps are all like fastidious and placed perfectly. And you do recall that there is a single game called Lady's Luck at Cisco's, where it's literally just a coin flip into a massive pile of coins.
Okay.
She gives you a wink for a quick moment, gives you a hug.
Jojo gives her a very knowing look, like to give her confidence that she's like got it.
She smiles, and then she says, "Okay, I'm sorry, Jojo." It's like now the guard grabs you by the back of the coat and just fucking goes to throw you. Do you
think?
Do you
I don't
conflict?
let them.
Yeah. Okay.
I make it hard for them. Yeah.
Okay, you do make it hard for them, but it was somewhat unsuspected. So as they grab you and you kind of jerk, they throw you back and you kind of like land just on the grass in the park. And then they say, "Stay away from the lady." And then they grab their spears once again and begin to move alongside the kind of cloaked figure. You can see she's wearing like this dress too at the bottom and like these fine shoes. You would not have guessed it was her if you did not see her face. It looks like some kind of escorted noble protected from the sunlight.
Not a very good tarp.
It's a very expensive tarp. I said tarp, but really it's like a silken shawl that's completely opaque. But that's just a tarp, right, guys? That's the most fancy word I know. I am high society, personally. As we cycle through, go ahead and take a gander here once more. Killian. Within the bounds of the park, you spot something as well. You see Killick, Yaga, and Pod. Each of them holding onto a small kind of like 2-scoop ice cream cone, and you see in the corner there's like this goat-drawn carriage with a long tarp over the top of it. It's got a long silken shawl covering the top of it. Yeah. And there's also a like goblinoid, not necessarily a goblin, but kind of this like pale blue-green skin, standing, long ears that kind of bend at the tip. That's just serving this ice cream to people.
Okay. I think Killian probably just like leaves Bladebeak with the kids that are painting it, and doesn't even give it a command. It's just like, just kind of waves her hand at it. And like rushes over to the goblins. Like
as you begin to walk away, Bladebeast's eyes turn red, and then you wave your hand. And kids continue painting it. People around are just like staring onwards towards this, just like battle mode activated. But as you leave Bladebeak in peace, you make your way over towards the three, and they're kind of just, yeah, I didn't expect that anyway. It's definitely a little bit weird, but you know how it. Hey, Killian. Oh, how you doing? You want some ice cream?
I tackle Killick.
You go to tackle Killick. Go ahead and roll. Roll an attack. This would just be a shove, I think.
Okay.
Or no, this would definitely be grab. I'm gonna roll athletics.
All right.
I think shove is also athletics versus acrobatics.
It is, yeah.
11.
11. You go to tackle and Killick kind of tanks it, puts the ice cream in front, and it's just like cone directly to the chest as they hold back, and they're like, "What the fuck?
Where have you been?
What are you talking about?"
Well, all your stuff's gone from the house, and it looks like, I mean, you did do the job I told you to for a few days, but you weren't there when I came back.
Yeah, I found work. What the fuck? I've always been pretty good with tinctures and shit. I'm doing some alchemy stuff.
Why didn't anyone know where you were?
'Cause I don't think anybody cares.
I
Frankly,
like
you care a little bit too much, I think. Holding onto the ice cream in their chest.
I look at Yaga like, what the hell? Like, I asked you where he was and you didn't know.
He's just like, yeah, that was fun, wasn't it? It was supposed to be a surprise. I didn't want it to go over your head too much. Sorry if it causes you to worry at all.
I mean, I used contacts to try to find information about you.
Are they dead?
My contacts?
Yeah.
No?
Oh, then you can keep using them, can't you? He pats you on the back.
Okay,
Pod
I
looks
turn
and is
to
like,
the...
Look who has contacts now.
So who does that? That was Pod?
A pod, yeah.
I mean, yeah, through the family. Let me... Hold on. And I turn to the ice cream and I like say like another one of whatever he had, and I'll pay for it.
50 gold.
Can I insight check?
Roll insight. I think that's the best tone and tempo I've ever heard that question asked. Can I insight check? 15 insight. They stare straight at you, and as they say 50 gold, you roll a wisdom saving throw. There seems to be definitely some malicious intent here. 12. You pull 50 gold from your... Do you have 50 gold on you?
I sure do.
All right, you pull 50 gold from your pouch and you hand it to them.
Fuck this guy.
Your eyes gloss over for a brief moment, and as you receive your 2 scoops of ice cream, he's like, right out! Closes down, closes that silken shawl, kind of like pulls into the cart, and they just wheels away.
Do none of his other brood mates next to him think this is all odd or suspicious?
They all seem to be smiling.
Here's your really expensive ice cream, and I hand it to Killick.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. I tell you what. Just a tip, all right? It looks you straight in the eyes, and the music around you that's been playing kind of just slows to a dull roar and stops entirely. And he says, stay away. In fact, go back to the village and just stay there.
What?
It's for the best. The city don't need us, and we don't need it.
Okay. Sure. By the way, stay away from the water. Tip for tip.
All right. Thanks for the ice cream. The 3 of them take and just begin to turn and begin to walk off towards the edge, where you now see some, like a small stage. Seemingly has been erected by Lavos, holding a large kind of sledgehammer, spins it and slams it down. You see him reach underneath the stage and he pulls out a spear gun, puts it over his shoulder and begins to walk to the north.
Okay. I think that I think Killian has had the festivity sails blown out from under her. And she's just kind of she's gonna like wander back to Bladebeak, and just kind of like, all right, sorry kids, I gotta go clean them up. And
What?
like it's like
I almost finished drawing on the eyes though.
Okay,
I
take
put
5.
one on the back of the head, so when people look at the back of them, then they'll think that it's staring at from the back, but it's not the front, right? It's
Yeah, that's a
tricky.
good idea.
Yeah,
I'll
so
let you finish.
Birds do that. It just screams in your face.
Okay,
Okay,
yeah,
thank you.
Yeah, finish and then we're gonna go.
Okay, thank you.
And Killian kind of like tells Bladebeak to like wait until the kid is done drawing and then join her. And Killian's just gonna kind of like find like a corner of the park where there's like less people.
Bladebeak like just inches forward, tearing like a small dirt trail through the grass as it continues to follow you, staying low enough to be painted on. And as we continue, Vincent, looking around, you take note. You're kind of like just keeping an eye on things, and it's definitely gotten significantly weirder than you expected it to, because Lavos seems to have gone a little bit overboard with the things that have been going on. There are several tents, like there's carriages and carts that have begun to show up. There was just an ice cream goblin who just left. There's a stage that has been erected, and some people begin to approach you wearing similar garb to those who are playing like the steel drums in the corner. But as they approach, let me go ahead and scroll up here. They say, anywhere you want, specifically like hi, by the way, hello. A tiefling man kind of with this it's kind of like blue purple skin approaches you and says, anywhere that you wanted the fire dancers to set up specifically.
I wasn't sure there was going to be fire dances today. Love, who hired you?
The kind of homely looking guy, big beard.
Well, has he paid you already?
Yes, in advance. Quite a sum.
I'll just look over at the stage, probably behind the stage. You can just set up your stuff there. You've already been paid for, so we might as well use you.
Gotcha, excellent. Pulls open the like a small chart and begins to tick things off, and he says, and the spinning chariot attraction seems to have broken down. Do we want to do something about that? We would need like an engineer. Do you have an engineer on hand?
I have a friend who is a tinkerer. She can have a look at it, but
Excellent.
frankly, maybe you should just put an out-of-order sign on it. The kids will figure out something else to do.
Yeah, they let
time to go around.
I mean, they're playing with like a painted series of squares and a giant bird statue, so I think you're absolutely right. Well, all right, excellent. Thank you for choosing Laron. And he turns and begins to walk away.
Vincent just kind of takes it as an insult and then kind of smirks at that and then eyes this person up and down. He's going to send a message to him being like, keep in touch. The name's Vincent Coldwater.
Can do. Warn me next time. And he turns and begins to walk off. As he leaves, he kind of like makes straight towards that stage and is like, put it in the back, put it in the back. And he walks off as he takes a hard right behind him in the distance. You spot an interesting figure. One that you recognize. A similar elven but not elven individual, pale skin. In this instance, wearing a fine white suit, seems incredibly tight to the frame. Black hair pulled back into a single kind of like braid. Sitting at a tea house across the street. Raising a cup towards you, having noticed him like thoroughly. Places the teacup down and points towards the second cup and a second chair.
Before Vincent goes, he's going to look around, just kind of assess what's going on and if him leaving would cause any issues. And then he will say, is Alexi and Lily still kind of posing off in the corner for people who are painting them?
They're currently standing on a small plinth, and they're like full knight garb. Lily's wearing kind of this princess gear. It seems like they've kind of dressed up even more. He's like wearing medals now, and she has this puffy, flowy robe. Just kind of in the middle of a dance, almost. Frozen.
Yeah, he'll send a message to him And he's just gonna be like, dear, you can respond in a whisper. I'll hear. But I'm gonna head off for a little bit, so I'll be back in a couple minutes. Maybe have you and your lovely fiance take a little break for a little bit.
Like you hear almost this.
Keep it. Oh, sorry.
It's such. Oh, sure, go ahead.
I had a little bit more to the message. Keep an eye on the area. See if anything. The kids might climb something they're not supposed to.
You receive just when you're like, oh, but you can take a break. He's like, oh, but this is so good for the lower back. Very well. I'll keep an eye. I'll make sure nothing bad happens. Take time, Vincent, and relax. It's a festival.
And I'll send one more message back as I start to saunter off to the Belvin dude. I don't take breaks, do you? You know me.
Well, then break something. I know you don't do that either. You head off towards the cafe across the street. Roll history with disadvantage. You have spent some time in the rack in your past, but... Okay. You make it up to the cafe. You can see that it has a silvered sign and a symbol with a set of crossed roads leading into a rising tower. And as the elven man stands, he kind of like just raises himself up from the table as you approach. And as you sit down, he sits down alongside you. He says, back so soon.
Well, I didn't expect you to find me so fast.
Amaranth. It's last time you were inside, it was a little bit harder, but this time, I think I know where you are.
He's got paint on him and stuff, and he's like not wearing his fanciest attire. He's like, sorry for my attire. I'm a little busy today.
I would not dream of commenting unless you wanted my unabashed opinion, my lord.
Vincent just like raises an eyebrow a little bit at that. Who exactly are you?
I'm afraid I can't tell you that yet. But your father deigned to call me Carson.
Oh, that's it. How do I spell that?
Carson.
Oh, okay. I was going with K, so right off the bat I was incorrect. Cousin. Well, I don't mind someone calling me that, but usually I take them for a date or two beforehand, and it's something we plan out, but if you want to be a client, we can discuss things. You keep bringing up my father, like it's something I'm supposed to know about, but if you're friends of his from the past, then I'd love to learn a little bit, but are you sure you're talking to the right person?
He kind of like just looks at you, and from between his just piercing yellow eyes, he says, well, I would actually be surprised if you were to know anything about your father. It was in the strictest of confidence that I approach you now. But I have been given leave to explain things to you, so I owe your father a favor, the details of which will remain between the two of us. But in return for this, I am predestined to serve your family line, yourself included. He leans in and he says, the exchange, of course, for such eternal servitude is a soul. Yours or your father's, I have yet to decide. Or perhaps your child's or yours when your father passes, if I have not yet taken his in the time. But we will have to see.
I'll eye this person up and down. Is there... He mentioned souls. What kind of creatures steal in those usually? Is it usually just demons and fiends? We've talked with a bunch of fey creatures recently too. Seems to be a lot of like stuff flying around. Vincent just wants to... This guy looks like an elf, so he's a little confused why he would want a soul.
Go ahead and roll Arcana.
elves have no souls. No, I'm kidding.
How could you? They are literally mostly soul. That's half of their lore. 10 Arcana. You're not entirely certain. You are aware through just your experience that it seems like demons, fae, and fiend deal in souls. But beyond that, you haven't read up on the subject, basically.
Vincent will smirk when he says, he wants his soul or his father's soul kind of thing. And he had he's sitting down next to him right at the table when we were talking.
Indeed.
Is there like a beverage on there for him, or would he have to order one?
There's a teacup that is filled with a kind of rosé wine. And there is another cup that is currently empty.
Okay. He'll lift it, and it's on his side. I just want to make sure it's not the other dude's.
Yeah, correct.
Okay. He'll pick up the wine and look at it. And he'll take a sip and put it back down. This is going to be interesting, but you're going to have to work mighty hard. If I'm going to agree to offer my soul up. It's not something I give away for free, dear.
I endeavor to be the perfect servant, of course. But I'm afraid this is not an interview. It is a meeting. One long prearranged. I look forward to serving you, Vincent Goldwater. Meet my expectations.
Did he ask Vincent to meet his expectations?
Yes.
He just kind of thinks on that for a second and picks up the glass and raises it to him a little bit. I don't disappoint.
He takes his own cup. Oh, sorry.
That's it. He takes another sip.
Oh, I'm sorry. He takes his own cup and he reaches up for a cheers of yours. Do you kind of take the sip before or after? Or do you literally deny him the cheers?
Yeah.
Oh, excellent. He raises the cup up, and then as you deny, he leans back and says, "Presumptuous of me. I'm sorry, my lord." And he takes a sip. You can hear, despite the fact that the cup was empty, the sound of liquid being kind of lightly drank. Pinky out, cup hits the table, and the camera pulls away. Matilda, I would like you to make 2 death saving throws, please.
Okay.
Natural 20. Natural 20. Let's do it.
Please do it, please. You did it last time, and it was the fucking best.
Okay, hold on. How do I roll death saves again?
On your character sheet. Actually,
Yeah.
you have to be at 0 hit points, so I'm just going to bring you to 0 quickly.
Oh, sorry, I forgot to.
That's okay.
I was in such shock. I was like,
Lavos, save us.
come on, don't do.
Oh!
Okay.
One success.
1 success.
It's a high one. A bit more.
Do more, please. Do more.
Natural 20.
Oh, I
one
got
failure.
greedy.
Failure.
Oh no.
We're even now.
So you have 1 success, 1 failure. I want 2 more death saves.
Ah!
Success.
2 failures. Let's pause on that final death save, shall we? As the camera pulls away. We find the scene once more. Alexei and Lily, kind of just sweat pouring down. The white dress has just been just mired in sweat, and his armor, literally his whole face is just pink from the bottom to the top, which makes his blonde hair that much blonder in the sunlight. But as you all begin to move back, you hear just this sound from the corner as you see Lavos holding onto a giant squid, making his way through. He just kind of throws it down into the center of the area and just.
Do I see this off in the corner? 'Cause I'm not very.
You
far
do.
from
It's
the
impossible not to. The entire entire thing has seen this now.
You had said previously that he had walked away with a harpoon.
Harpoon.
A spear gun, yeah.
I will. I'll put my teacup down. And turn to the man. Carson, do you mind if we chat later? Do you know where I live? Based off of information you've probably gathered.
I'll be able to figure it out. But as of right now, your assumptions of me are far too high, my lord. I am but a worm. Gives a nod.
Yeah, but we'll have to work you up to be a little bit more than that. He'll hand over his business card instead of, I have things to do right now, so please excuse me. And he'll just kind of nod towards him and back away, still thinking on that. Also noted that he didn't die by drinking that drink, so he'll take that in good faith.
It's actually quite a good rosé.
And he'll head off towards Lavos because this is getting a little out of hand.
You approach Lavos, who he's already kind of pulled out a small knife and is beginning to attempt to he's looking at this and he's like, how the fuck what do you do with something like this? Oh, yeah.
This is a small children's festival based around arts and crafts and things. I think you've taken this a little bit too far, dear.
He begins to lift the squid and he's like, I didn't put this down on one of them, did I? Lifts it up. You see the face of that one kid who's just like, this is not expected. Lavos is like, oi, get out from under there. Pulls the kid out and just slips him down in a small line of ooze that he slips over into the corner of the grass, stands up and is like, I'm going to go get washed.
Can you, are you able to get rid of this thing?
Oh yeah, I ran out of seafood, so I thought I should get some. But this thing's fucking great. I found it in the basement.
I don't trust anything that comes from a basement. So we just need to, dial it back in. Keep it at a 2 or 3 for right now.
My grandfather is a basement.
Something small, and frankly, I wanted you to do some art, and you haven't yet. So.
Oh, you want me to draw something? I can do that.
The whole point of this thing is to just relax and see what comes to you. And I think you've lost sight of that.
I kind of fear what will come out of the art that I create. As a god who dabbles in dreams, it's might be a little bit weird, also potentially magical. Oh, let's try it out. He begins to move over towards an easel. Let's make sure the kid's a fair distance away, right, before I start, just in case.
What did you do with the squid?
It's just gone. Oh. It's just not there anymore. You make it out over to the other area and the fire dancers begin. Flames pouring out into the open air. In the corner you see a few people who have come to see these festivities. As Lavos begins to paint, magical spires of color begin to lift up and off the canvas. All of you kind of take note of this as it just begins to lift into the air and mix and mingle with the flames. And as in the corner, all of this begins to draw the attention of an individual that you guys may or may not know. Go ahead and roll history. Matilda, you can also roll history.
I am very unconscious and dying. Can I roll history?
You can.
Eyes blurry, just like, who's that person?
Yeah, no, I'm dying.
Killian, Vincent, Jojo. The three of you recognize this figure. And Matilda, step it up. I mean, honestly, I'm just kidding.
Thanks.
Wow.
There's a shade thrown at this player you're about to kill.
This individual who stands before you is the King of Amaranth.
Ooh.
Flamel. King Flamel. Edelweiss has approached the area surrounded by a small contingent of royal guard. As he begins to look around the area, a decorated rapier at his side, he begins to move through. Do any of you interact with this individual?
Nope.
Does he step on Matilda?
No.
Oh shit! Dead body.
I'd say Vincent takes note of him, but unless he walks up and starts to him, he's not going to go over. He'll just take note of what he's doing, or if he's going to try and shut this down. Even though
he begins?
doesn't really have any jurisdiction. Well, he could, but
that'd be awesome. Walk up to the king and just be like, "Excuse me, you weren't invited." As Flamel continues to walk through, he does indeed kind of just move directly through the area, looking at all the festivities. A small goblin pours around the area with a cart and kind of It opens in a quick flourish as they just spin this lever aggressively, and you see Flamel move up. 2 guards approach, and kind of each one grabs an ice cream cone and takes a lick, gives a nod. The king reaches forward, grabs one. A cleric approaches from the side, casts a spell over it. A wizard begins to move in, pulls out a book, and begins to cast some kind of divination spell. And after a good 20 seconds of all of this, he takes the ice cream cone, nods, and puts down just like a massive bag of platinum as the goblin just raises a cap, closes down shop again, and begins to leave. Then they leave, heading through the area, making their way due south.
I check that. Did the deal just go down?
Go ahead and roll insight.
Or is the king just like trying to flaunt his money?
Maybe he doesn't know the worth of money because he's too rich. It's like, that's what an ice cream costs.
And Killian thinks it costs 50 gold now, so.
I mean, ice cream is something relatively new in the grand scheme of things. But I'm sure you guys had seen small kids running out of ice cream shops that did not just drop like a year's worth of money on that ice cream cone. You have no idea if a deal just went down. Maybe it's just really good ice cream. But as he begins to leave,
odd, but it's fine. Today's been quite interesting.
As he begins, sorry, go ahead.
Vincent's gonna send a message over to Lexi and be like, "Can you go around and collect my friends? Do you know what they look like?"
Just give me a brief, one quick brief, one brief.
He'll give a one-word description of everyone. So like, small, tinkering green goblin.
Spooky.
Oh.
Like,
I thought you were gonna be like one word for each, like small.
And then,
yeah, no, I couldn't do that. Or just
and
like,
then spooky for Matilda.
Like, large,
Buff.
green orc woman, sawtooth necklace, and then Matilda is short, human.
Weird.
Looks kind of cute, but she likes to wear skull earrings, and looks like she reads a lot.
Nerd.
What is that? Looks like you look like you read a lot, my friend. I'd be like, I'm offended. I am incredibly
Yeah, she looks
illiterate.
like an inside kid, basically. That's what he means. She's an inside kid.
Sweet. As Alexei and Lily begin to kind of just like fan off, Alexei begins to just chats with her off in the corner for a second and begins to scour the area. Matilda, you may have 2 death saving throws. If you succeed the first death saving throw, your second will be at advantage, because as you look forward, you see a small child holding an ice cream cone who is kind of just staring down at you in this moment and just like...
I do like to think that, like, Matilda's, like, in the back of her mind, she's, like, all of these, like, the bad voice, which is like, oh, you're terrible, you're awful, you're too this, you're too that, all the stuff that she dealt with when she was younger, when she stopped ignoring when people were really mean to her. Like, if you know what I mean, there's the mean voice in your head that, like, cycles all the rude shit that people ever said to you. She thinks back to the one time that she actually cried about something that somebody did. She rolls her death save. Do I have inspiration?
I know we all got one, but I don't know if you've used it.
I have not used mine.
The only one I remember you guys using was on your hit points forever ago, I believe.
Yeah, that one was used then.
Yeah, have you received an inspiration since then?
I don't think so.
I feel like you guys did in the McGurmick farm.
I don't think so. I think we were like, oh man, we haven't gotten any inspiration. They were like, everyone roll. If you all roll above a 10, we'll give you all inspiration. We failed it, so we didn't get it.
The gods decided.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think Killian had used her inspiration making Bladebeak.
Can I do what is it called? Guidance?
Let me check. One second.
I don't
It's
think you
not for
can.
You cannot, but I am
it's
just
not.
curious now whether or not guidance has a verbal component, and it does.
Okay. Come on, Matilda.
That is a success. Your next check will be made
Oh
at
my
advantage.
goodness, you're freaking me out.
That's. Oh no, that is.
Yeah.
As you close your hazy eyes and hit the ground unconscious, you are stabilized. Your ash bond continues at the faintest bit to attempt to weird close to this line that has been drawn across your neck. And as you close your eyes, you just hear one kid be like, "Mom!" That fades out into the distance.
Oh, I like to think that as that happens, like, all of the mean things are happening, she's crying, and her last, memory before she kind of, closes her eyes, and she's not sure if she's dying or coming back to consciousness. It's just her Mama Mal and her pom-pom just, holding her. And then all of a sudden she hears,
I'm assuming anyone that's still in the vicinity starts hearing this child screaming out.
You guys hear the scream, you begin to move.
I think someone fell out of a tree or something again. This happened last year.
As you guys begin to approach, you see a figure. And then 2, and then 3, and then 4. Everybody drawn by the call of this small child. He runs off into the distance, and you guys just begin to hear as this just massive Goliath woman begins to run through the air and is like, "My boy!" Making her way over towards the edge as she scoops up this child and runs towards the tree. You see Killig, Pod, and Yaga, who had previously left, running towards this location. You see Carson in the distance just kind of watching, one finger across his mouth. It just strokes his chin as he sees the situation unfolding. King Flamel turns at a brief moment, hearing this commotion. You see your mother, Jojo, once again within the area, no longer covered, standing with that strange headdress on, staring down, as you all encircle around the body of Matilda, who is stable but conscious. You just see a small puddle of blood with no idea as to the nature of what has happened. Her belongings ruffled through.
As soon as Vincent saw the blood from afar, Matilda face down on the ground.
I don't think I'm face down. I think I'm face up.
Okay, it doesn't matter. As soon as he sees this, he'll cast a healing word.
Matilda, actually roll 1d4 for me as well. Just as a curiosity. And and Vincent, go ahead and roll that healing.
Can I also heal?
Absolutely.
If Killian's already going to heal her, then Vincent won't. It's more about who gets there first, I guess.
Well, you probably would have gotten there first because you have a ranged healing spell, as well as you were probably closer to it. I don't know.
I think as you guys rush forward, you probably both would have done it.
Yeah.
You did it first, Killian began to do it afterwards. Matilda, with this healing, your eyes faintly open, and as you look upwards, you see
nice.
Pom Pom and Mama Mal looking down at you as they slowly begin to fade away. You see your friends standing over you with looks of worry on their faces. You see all of these various different people. You see Lavos, who moves up and brings himself down to his knees and looks down at you as tears begin to soak through down into the beard. His eyes just emotion covering his face, various different emotions tearing through, and just a look of disgust on himself. And as all of this continues to pour through, the wind picks up, and you see, in the distance, a single feather move across the sun, passes its way far, far away, northwest, and then it disappears. Vincent, you spot a single individual who approaches this scene. Everyone else seems to be keeping a distance, and it's makes sense watching all of this transpire. That Goliath woman standing in the background is 15, 16 feet tall at this point. And a woman begins to approach you. And then as they approach, they take one hand and wipe it across their face, and they are Seelan McGurmick. Moving through and forward, their clothing begins to shift into flowing forms.
Vincent sees this, right?
Absolutely. In fact, all of you do.
Oh, okay.
And as the face continues to change and shift into various different shapes, Matilda, you awaken. And so too do all of you. You awaken the morning of Vincent's art fair in your homes.
no.
Your ash bonds burning. And as you find yourself, Vincent, I imagine in the black sheep, Jojo within the family home, Matilda at your home, just a little bit southwest of the literal Reaper, and Killian within the stack houses. All of you feel an immediate ping in your mind. Almost instantaneously, Lavos bursts through your doors. It says, "Family home, now." Door closes. Door
I'm
opens
here.
to Vincent's. "Family home, now." Closes it as yeah, that's true. But he seems worried and just paced. You probably weren't the first he went
does
to.
it anyway.
Yeah. And as he slams the door for the last time, begins to pace around the living room. What do you guys do?
Spotlight or?
Well, do you guys plan on doing like an early morning before going to the family home, or do you just gather together? You absolutely can if you want to do something separate.
Killian is gonna just do one thing before she leaves, but it's at her house.
Okay, everyone roll spotlight. Let me throw this into just a narrative initiative. Okay, first up, Matilda. You awaken in your family home. Or you awaken in your apartment. What do you do?
I get dressed and I run to Mama Mal's house and I throw open the door. And I don't know if they're both there having breakfast. I don't know what their living situation is when it's not dinner night. And I just like run in and I hug her and and she starts to cry.
Matilda! She sees you begin to cry and she just is devoid of words. And she just pulls you in for a hug. And Pom Pom is not currently here, but she's kind of eating this just like sparse handmade breakfast, and she just pulls you in. What's wrong? What happened?
It was just a bad dream. And I kiss her on the cheek and I say, I go. Just wanted to make sure. I'll talk to you later.
Did you check under the bed? Was there something forcing you to have these nightmares?
No. I'll see you later.
My love. And you stand up.
Yeah, and I'm going to race to Lavos's house. Or our family home, sorry.
And you run. Vincent.
Just want to confirm, this is the start of the day, so we got a long rest beforehand.
This is the beginning of the day. You guys are fully fresh of all. Killian, you have your 50 gold pieces back.
Okay. Vincent, after waking up, not hungover, because he didn't drink too much the night before, and Lavos abruptly coming in after his dream when she was just going to be like, being a part of a family is causing him to have fucked up dreams. But seeing that and then hearing that, he's just kind of like, ugh. So he's gonna get ready. But just before he goes, he'll go down and talk to Rosa really quickly. I never got to talk with you last night. I have some kind of immediate business to attend to, but I needed to let you know something, dear.
What is it?
Like I mentioned last night, grandfather came calling, and just make sure to maybe hire an extra guard or two around the place. I don't want him trying to hurt anyone on my behalf.
I've actually, after the situation with the Goliath and the wizard man, the elven man, I have entreated to the Red Rose, and they are sending a few cherries and a rose our way.
Okay.
Are you okay? You seem
It's
clammy.
family business, dear. Unfortunately, can't talk about it right now, but Stay safe. Vincent will lean in and give her a kiss on the cheek. I need to go.
You keep safe.
I always do. And he'll give her his like signature smirk back.
She's
Okay.
way too intuitive to just be like, to just smile and be like, okay, bye. But she kind of just watches you and gives a nod, knowing that this is kind of is one of those situations where you don't ask questions. And you turn and you make your way out.
It's less like Vincent was giving an air of worry if she were to try to incite him. It's just the fact that he's annoyed that he doesn't have all the information.
I think the situation here, it's very early morning, which is already kind of odd. But I think also you probably didn't spend like a long time getting ready. And are like, family business, I have to go. And it was just like, that's out of the ordinary. Vincent lives at his own pace. So she was like, interesting. But you begin to make your way. And Jojo, you find yourself at home.
Yeah, she wakes up to Lavos being like, family home now. And she's like, I'm here. What? And he's like already gone. She's like, fuck. And it's like the ash bond is just burning. She's just like, is it hot to the touch?
No, just in your shoulder. It feels like it's burning. When you touch it, it's still like just normal on your hand.
Well, another weird dream. Does it feel different than normal? Or is it just like, yeah, that's a dream. Time, like, restarting? Maybe I should punch myself in the face and see if a stair creaks, actually.
You punch yourself in the face.
Do it!
You don't hear a creaking stair. This one was just a little bit different than your usual dreams in that it just felt a bit more cohesive. Typically, the dreams descend very quickly.
Well, it is sort of weird. My mom was like in a procession and was dressed fancy, and she had me a card with like a secret message, and we were at a children's fair. It was a pretty weird dream.
But there was
Honestly.
no dog that began to bark in the sound of a squeaking chair.
No, you're right. It was, and then Lavos had a giant squid. I think it was maybe a little less weird than normal, but not that
Yeah,
much, really.
Just a little bit different.
Yeah. So she heads downstairs and starts. I guess she assumes everyone's gonna come here, so she's gonna start making breakfast for everyone. Maybe spends a little bit of time in the cold room just to see if that cools down her ash bond and all.
Put like a key pack on it. Like,
Yeah, I ice it.
You
It
take
does
the
not.
swords out of the couch.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, the swords have been thoroughly removed from the couch already. For the most part, you guys still have the like boxes. However, there has been quite a bit of furniture moved in the early night. All but silently, as far as you can tell, Jojo, because you don't recall waking up. Although
Yeah.
there's probably a few reasons for that. As you continue your breakfast, Killian, you're up. You find yourself in the stack houses.
I'm immediately gonna go to Killig's room and just like push the door open, or even if there is a door, go to his corner, whatever the situation may be.
The way I
still...
picture this, it's like several floors, and for the most part, it's very function over form, where it's like thin hallway rooms, bunk beds. So like if you enter into the room, you see just a wall of beds and like maybe 2 deep. The rooms themselves somewhat tall and cramped, but they're foot lockers and beds on bed on bed, in these kind of like tall rooms, and probably 4 floors or so. But as you approach the corner, Killig, not there.
Same, everything is just kind of missing.
Nothing's changed.
I go to Yaga's bed.
Yaga is in there. It's very early in the morning, and he is currently there, just kind of like.
Yaga.
Yeah, hi, Killian.
I don't care if it's a surprise. Did Killig tell you that he has work?
No, he's constantly bitching about not being able to find work. Although he hasn't been bitching much recently.
Hey, how much does ice cream cost?
The good stuff? Like... 6 copper, maybe?
Hey.
It's a series of questions that definitely have something to do with each other, I imagine. I just can't, for the life of me, figure out how.
For now, don't worry about it. I'll get back to you. I'm gonna be leaving this morning. Just don't. Are there blue goblins? I've never seen one before.
I mean, paint exists.
Oh, okay. Sorry to bother you. And just like close the door and immediately leave.
You just hear blue goblins. Rolls over. Just, bed begins to squeak. Yeah, you immediately leave. You begin to head towards the manor as well. And in the matter of a fair bit of time, anybody take a carriage?
I did. I would have told him to step on it.
Alrighty. I'm actually going to do something a little bit different for carriages and stuff. You went from Mama Mouse, that's over here. I'm just going to do a straight line and add a flat bonus. So that is 7 silver. And Vincent, did you carriage?
Mm-hmm.
You carriaged? Nice.
I did tell them to step on it, so if that makes it cost more, Matilda will pay it.
You could do what they do from the.
They love it when you say that.
You could do like a flat rate. Like when you get a taxi at an airport, they just like based on the district, how many districts you go is like the price. It's like a flat rate.
It's just weird because of the way the roads work. So it's just a straight line and then like another 20% of the cost.
Okay.
So Vincent, that will be 2 silver. You guys arrived at the
pushing Bladebeak to max speed through the streets.
Running at max pace.
It's
Still
like Roadrunner.
drawing a fair bit of attention.
I like this like cut from like all you guys are rushing to the family home and Jojo quickly making breakfast for everyone.
Yeah, like tearing up asphalt, carriages like step on it. Yeah. All right, you up. Yeah. As they begin to tear through. Vincent, what do you do?
Vincent probably gets there before Matilda because he's a little closer, and he'll just I don't know. I think he's the closest out of everyone. Do you think?
Other than Jojo, who's currently just like fast cuts in between. Gotta do it.
He gets there. He'll clean his shoes off because again he's tired of walking through the muddy forest, and he'll like open the door abruptly. He's just like, Lavos, you better have a good like reason for waking me up this morning. What is going on?
He looks at you for a second and is like, well, you were there too, weren't you, in the dream?
Okay. You're gonna have to explain something to my dear. You'll go and sit on the couch. Wait till the others get here.
You also take note that there's a couch now.
I know. He knew that we paid for the furnishings. He's taking in the fact that most of them are already here already.
And Matilda and Killian. Killian, you arrive shortly before Vincent, actually. And yeah, Killian's much closer. But you arrive shortly before Villian. And as Villian enters into the room, you kind of just look over. Lavos is gathering everybody. Jojo, you continue to chop aggressively. And it's like in my explanation, you've pretty much just been chopping. You never actually got to cooking, but you have a lot of carrots. I'm just kidding. And as Matilda, you finally arrive, the last to arrive the carriage, kind of like, I think they're actually quite daring this time, and they attempt to brave the Old Town Road, but one of the wheels kind of tears out, and then they're like, son of a bitch, you have to run, my lady. As that you jump out of the carriage.
I have a question. Is my book in my bag? I would have looked in the carriage ride.
Your book is still with you.
Okay. And then I get out and I thank you, and then I run.
Give them hell. Single tear like wipes across. He's clearly concocted some kind of story in his head on why they're moving so fast. But as they attempt to mend their wheel, and they do so very quickly, just like literally a hand wave over top of it, it's mended, and they turn around and begin to leave. You all arrive at the manor. And as Lavos kind of brings everybody in, he immediately goes in and gives you a big hug, Matilda, and then goes over and tries to pull everybody in. Do you all fight the hug?
I don't fight, but I'm confused.
Killian probably hops into it.
Vincent's on the couch, so unless Lavos is able to move the hug towards there, but he's not going to. But he's sitting there, and while he's waiting, he asks Jojo for like a cup of coffee or even tea, something. And as soon as he gets that into him, you can see his demeanor immediately shifts, and he's a little bit more calmer.
Yeah,
Matilda-
Jojo puts down all the breakfast and coffees and teas.
Matilda doesn't fight the hug. She actually leans into it minutely, which is more than she usually does. I don't know if Lavos notices that. It's very minute. It's not Mama Mal or Pom Pom, so it's not going to be like a full-on like hug, which she just lean in the tiniest bit.
Lavos has a fair bit of insight. That was a 31.
Yeah.
He takes note of this, as far as you can tell. And he shuffles the hug over towards the couch, kind of like stepping at a time. and brings it down.
Oh, Vincent will put up his hand. If that's unnecessary, he'll stand up, he'll go over, and he'll give everyone a pat. Okay, pleasantry's over.
And I
You
look
mind
like
telling
shit.
us what's going on?
Right. And let's take a break.
Ha!
So
Nice.
we will see you shortly. We find ourselves within Old Town Manor, which is now not quite as destroyed as it might seem on the map. But as we cycle through, Vincent has just told Lavos that basically he has a little bit of explaining to do. Lavos pulls you guys in, and as we all sit down, Jojo, what did you cook?
It's like very, very simple, like breakfast food. It's like potatoes with spices and like
Eggs with cheese.
yeah, eggs, cheese, and just like some toast with like some. If we have jam, there's jam and butter. It's super simple.
Jam and other preserves are things you guys have in abundance.
Great. Definitely got a bunch of jams on the table then and bread.
As you bring all the stuff in, go ahead and roll a cooking check. In this instance, because you're doing it as fast as humanly possible, dexterity plus proficiency. And Matilda, go ahead.
I'm not eating this food because I am very not hungry, not because it doesn't look delicious. I don't want to offend you, Jojo. Thank you for cooking.
In other words,
Matilda looks like shit.
it's fine. It's pretty good.
That's pretty good. As you all sit down at the table,
Vincent has like a huge plate.
Yeah.
He just piles it on like it's supposed to be a normal portion, but it's about 3 times a normal human's portion.
Lavos sits down and says, "All right, so that was new to me. See, well, I don't actually think what we experienced was necessarily a dream, right? That was familiar and uncomfortable, which means I think we were actually in the deep ethereal for a time.
Oh.
I don't know necessarily what that means for this whole thing, but connection between me and you through our bonds, right? I think this is what I was wishing for. Last night I was meditating, trying to think of, just make sense of the cryptic nature of what I saw with your bonds. And that's when we got pulled into that dream. Now, it might be like a pocket of the deep ethereal that's just kind of stuck to me, or it might be something else. But from what I saw going on there, I think I have an idea of what we need to do. Right? Now, first thing we got to know, this kind of thing, it's like, it's almost premonitory in a way, right? But it's cryptic. There's information shared to me in the dream that might aid us in one direction or the other for your rank breaks. I think that has something to do with this. So let's share information for now, and let's try and figure out what it is that happened to each of you, because I was out hunting a fucking kraken. Right? So let's round table. Let's try and figure this out. What? Matilda. First things first. I failed you. And there's nothing I can say that will make that right. I'm sorry.
Why are you blaming yourself, Lavos?
Oh, I'm the fucking god here, ain't I?
Yes, but I don't know. To be honest, people get killed in the city all the time, and the members of families, they don't seem to be able to stop it any other way.
Who did it?
The girl that was staring at me.
Is there a particular reason why she decided to... Also, to clarify, is any of this actually real, or was this just some sort of maniacal nightmare concoction from Lavos' fantasies? And so if we use any of the information from here, it could not necessarily be realistic of the expectations of these people?
Well, not to cut in, but Killig told me he got a job. He was there, and Yaga apparently knew about it and wanted it to be a surprise. But this morning I busted into Yaga's bedroom and asked them about it, and they didn't know what I was talking about. So I don't know if it's all necessarily true.
So this woman could not harbor any ill will to you, and for some reason she decided to in the dream.
Lavos, you said that part of Matilda's rank break is that there's going to be a mentor whose trust will be hard to earn. We don't think that that's this woman, is it?
I'm actually starting to think it is.
Well,
She killed me for my book. Or she tried to, at least.
I would say this. You guys didn't start out on each other's good pages, but to be honest, I feel like most relationships for you, Matilda, might start out that way. So,
Can I just double check one thing first? Are we actually doing a children's fair today? Is that part of our plan for today?
That might have been a little bit exaggerated by me. There is an art fair, and I thought we had fooled all of you. But Vincent, if you want to go a little bit more into detail about that.
and it's usually just something small. Yes, it's not supposed to be anything near what happened in the dream. That was a little exaggerated, yes. But I do host this annually. Something I enjoy doing for my own reasons.
Why did you want the book, Matilda? Did she say?
No, she was from Merkel's family. And she had a pendant on that had these weird gears.
Gears?
Like Gond?
It's a possibility that she's also a warlock under your patron.
Killian, roll history with advantage. Sorry.
She wanted your book for some reason.
It's a 19.
19 history. As she says, she had an amulet with some gears on it. And you think about Gond. You do recognize that they're Gond's engineering guild, which is among the most prominent in the city, is the Silver Cog, I believe. Let me take one check. The Silver Cog, the engineering guild, it's in the Marble Slates. It is, right now, it is embroiled in a massive kind of collaboration between Gond and Mistra. The two families are working on something that is supposed to be secret. But for the most part, people in the city know that it's the largest Skyrunner in the world, which are flying ships that are created by Magitech engines. You and Thringar actually managed to see a small Magitech engine, and you've had some hands-on experience with them.
Yeah. In addition, like for the Silver Cog, that particular guild, is that the same symbol that Matilda saw with the leaf and the two gears?
The way she describes it, it's a silver leaf, which is kind of like just a silver paint, and
Okay.
two interlocked gear cogs, which matches 100%.
Okay. Yeah, that's the engineering guild, the Silver Cog.
But our
So-
ash bond is from Merkel.
So an engineer of death.
You're allowed to. The guilds don't necessarily do any. You can be a part of any guild. Matilda has no
Yeah.
correlation to like. If you're out, bonded to Merkel, it doesn't mean you can't, be in the entertainers guild.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel about this? Since according to Lavos, you're supposed to have to work with this person.
I can deal with it.
So I take it it's not a good thing, considering that this is something you would have to deal with.
I'm, like you said, Vincent, I'm used to people treating me a certain way without getting to know me. So I can deal with it. I've dealt with it before.
I meant more along the lines of you usually just go for people's knees, so didn't
Yes.
figure I'd hit on a sore spot. My apologies, dear.
It's not really a sore spot per se. It's just you don't start going for the knees if someone doesn't go for yours first. If that makes any sense. And then so I'll work with her. It just
I don't think
I
you
don't
should
know.
meet her again without us.
If I know much about what's been going on here, well, let me say, I spent a long time in that pocket that we just spent the night, and it's hard to wrap your head around it sometimes. Like, the geometry of your mind is different there. But often it eludes us to things. I think, now, also talking about fate, right? People seem to think fate's like a road you follow, but it actually seems more like a series of loose threads. So long as the threads are wound around the same points, things typically keep flowing without a complete breakdown of reality, right? So we should be going to that art fair today, but this time we should be ready in case any of these events happen to us, right?
Is there any way in the future, Lavos, if you delve into this deep ethereal and go on your little journey quests into figuring these things out, that you can let us get a good sleep in the meantime? Just explain it to us in the morning, so we don't have to deal with that extra
Oh, is
baggage.
that hard for you?
Yeah,
No,
no, it brought up a good point. I didn't mean to. Right, that could be the difference between life and death, a good sleep. And, weight loss is also very important. Sleep connects into a lot of things in your hunger levels. And don't be taking that out of context, Jojo. Sleep is very important. You've touched on, sleep to a god of sleep.
I'm just jealous, okay? I don't get to stop the dreams, okay?
Well, I feel like you have some unresolved issues of your own.
Yes, yes.
I'm gonna check with a few herbalist friends of mine and see if we can't get you like a salve or some kind of tincture that will help you sleep. All right, I'm in on this.
As much as I don't mind gaining some new information, I feel these, to put it politely, burdens that would be put on us, and he'll look towards Matilda, might discourage or affect our morale for the future. So if we all go through multiple death experiences, I feel like it would get to us eventually.
I don't think this is going to be a daily occurrence. I believe this has something to do with the breaking of ranks. So as far as we know, the power that holds within you is tied to some kind of, well, typically in some ways traumatic events and life experiences and hardships you've overcome. So I'm pretty sure this, and I'm sorry about this, I think this is just a fault of my portfolio. I don't know if Lathander's family gets burned alive by the sun or something, but we get weird dreams.
It's okay, Vincent.
When Vincent says morale might be broken if we die multiple times, Jojo looks towards Killian. What's Killian's reaction to that?
Killian just kind of like nods slowly, like she kind of her eyes glaze over a little bit, and she just kind of keeps slowly nodding
Thank you for your kind words, Vincent. You're not the only one now in the party that is someone that wants to kill them.
As much as I, love to be in the limelight, it's unfortunate that I couldn't keep this one on me this time.
That's why I usually hang back.
Talking about that figure who approached right at the end, I think that has something to do with your break, the one who's trying to kill you. It was a woman originally, and when they approached, they had multiple faces. they were able to put a face on,
You know, I've been thinking
changing
about that.
clothes.
I had my my magic awareness on around the fake ceiling, and they never looked magical to me. It's not like alter self.
Vincent just like sits back in his chair and takes a sip. I have ideas. Let me think on this.
Are there people that can become other people without it sending off magic? Would any of us have read anything about that?
Everyone can roll Arcana.
I personally don't need to.
Yeah,
He's
totally
personally
fine.
keeping this information to himself.
Gotcha.
We have a nerdy party, so I'm just like, books!
Yeah.
No, you're the only nerd who rolled really good.
In your studies, you have heard of humanoids known as, well, not even necessarily humanoids, but shapeshifters. Any kind of creature that might be capable of assuming a new shape as a feature of their own body, as opposed to a kind of magical effect. You know that this kind of thing would not appear to the concept of detect magic. Such creatures include both Mo, who you'd seen before, but probably not capable due to his size and stature of taking on a humanoid shape like Seelan. But also creatures like changelings, which you have read about. In recent years, changelings have become a topic of discussion in regards to whether or not they are like monsters from the dungeon. Because as far as people are aware, like, there were changelings in the dungeon, but there's also stories of changelings outside of the dungeon. It's kind of been a constant debate among scholars recently as to whether or not they are dungeon-born or native to the known world. This is basically how you heard of it.
I rattled that off as like you're reading the like citing section of like a research paper.
Those ringlets that I gave you, Vincent, and those ones that you got, Matilda, they have a spell that's they can make a shapeshifter show their true form.
They do?
It's the moonbeam one.
Hold on, let me reread this.
Touching on that, Matilda, I think you would also, considering Jojo had mentioned forcing a shapeshifter to show their true form, you also understand that it has been in recent years tested that silver powder mixed into holy water can also cause the similar effect. A shapeshifter to, like, it pains them incredibly.
If we get a hold of some holy water and some silver, we can just kind of maybe put it in a bucket and just like throw it on them.
Well,
that's
we can't just walk around with a bucket of holy silver water all the time. Maybe something more along the lines of a vial that you could throw at them and it breaks. You'd have it in your bag.
Do we have plant misters yet?
What are those?
No, hold on.
No.
I'm just like
For, like,
Spray
hydroponics.
bottles.
There's... You don't
like
have...
a bad cat.
You mean like a
You have-
spray bottle?
Yeah,
You don't have
yeah.
plastic in its normal shape yet. You have rubber, which is like one of the most impressive inventions aside from like ice boxes and elevators. But in current years, I would say you do have spray bottles, yeah.
Because like also there's like those seltzer bottles that like clowns used to use where they would spray water out of it too. If we don't necessarily have a spray mister, there's other things that we can have.
Yeah, I'm literally thinking of like window cleaning brand.
Get one of those trick flowers and then just phew, spray them.
Well,
Ooh, that's good.
thank you for this
Like that
information,
idea.
Alvos. I think I missed that at the end.
Oh, I saw my mom in the dream, and she
Keep
was
my eye
like in a procession. It was all fancy, and she was dressed really nice. But she
When
told me
they-
to go to Cisco's to find her.
When they took my book, I couldn't reach my celestial patron.
Hmm.
Tried to ask for help.
They, regarding touching back on what Jojo said a moment ago, it's definitely has something to do with your mum. I saw the procession when I was leaving. I did not see anything past that. So, she said to go to Cisco's.
Yeah, she handed me She sort of gave me like a code to find her. She said, "You'll find me if you're lucky," and she handed me a Cisco's card that was like fully punched out, or had all the stickers and had like a punch hole in the corner. I think she was telling me to like go to Cisco's and play the ladies' luck game with like the specific card.
All right.
You don't still have it,
solid
right?
tip.
I don't have it, no. I mean, maybe I could remake it, but I'd have to go to Cisco's and buy a whole bunch of stuff.
Vincent will lean back a bit. You think it's better if we cancel today? I think people
No.
would rather focus their efforts somewhere else.
I don't think so. I think we're supposed to. This needs to be done. If we avoid the events that occurred, it's going to unravel the little fate strings. That being said, we can and see what happens. It's not, the world's not going to collapse in on itself, you know. But
But it won't be quite as big as you guys think it is, and it's supposed to be just something
Oh, you mean
small.
the king's not gonna show up?
If he does, more power to him, but he usually doesn't. I don't think he's
Or
ever
he doesn't
come
need
to
any
one.
more?
Do Vincent and Killian tell us about what happened to them?
Yeah. Upon mention of the king, Killian was like, so I mean, I played a bunch of tricks on all the kids, and that was fun. But then, I saw all my broodmates, including Killig, and he told me to just go back to the 10th floor, and not to come back to Ashfall. He said that it wasn't a place for us. Which, I mean, it makes sense that he would probably want to go back to the 10th floor, but I don't know why he would tell me specifically to go back. And then I bought ice cream, and it was really expensive. But I didn't really question it. There was a blue goblin who was selling ice cream, and I paid 50 gold pieces for it.
Oh, man.
oh Christ!
Well, he
And
got a
then
deal. I think I saw the king put down a bag of platinum, so
Good ice cream. Maybe.
I don't know, I didn't eat any of it.
What? You see, Lavos gets just visibly 50 gold. Focus. All
I
right.
think that's the
let me think
least
of
of
that.
our worries, dear.
I think this definitely has something to do with Killig. Finding Killig is important right now. Also, seeing your other broodmates means that they're probably involved in this as well now. We'll have to.
He did say that he had work making tinctures, like potions.
All right.
He wouldn't tell me where.
All right. We should keep an eye out. Maybe if we scour the city for information from like alchemists or herbalists, might be able to find something. If he said potion specifically, then we want to focus in on alchemy.
We could probably ask the guy from the Mass District, because they would probably hire goblins and things like that. Not because I think that you don't deserve the work, as people are terrible.
Do you think
What
is it, a
individual in
palm?
Mass District, sorry, that you're referring to?
The one we met before, after we had the fight and we bought stuff from them.
Oh, Regis, yeah.
Yeah, Regis.
your Pom? Isn't he an alchemist?
Yeah, they might be able to help. They make all sorts of things. And they probably would know who would work with what they consider unsavory peoples.
And Vincent, anything else happened to you while my eyes were not upon this woman who appeared? Did you see her again in the dream?
I didn't see her at the end. You inferred that, so we now have that information. Aside from that, the day wasn't too. It was odd. Obviously, you didn't hire the fire dancers and plans to put up a stage, did you?
In the dream, I did, yeah.
I
Sorry.
mean in this reality.
No.
Okay,
No,
good.
definitely not.
No seafood stalls this year. I'm gonna roll that die. Hold on.
Which die is that? A D12?
The trust dice. Or the how much information do I leave out dice.
I've been doing the rank break that you inclined yesterday, I guess at this point. Touched me when I went down. You had a vision. I also had a vision of my own. And I saw someone there. I don't really know how much to make of it, but I met an individual. And during the dream, I met them again. Frankly, I think it's pretty far-fetched and have no idea what's going on, but if their information is to be believed, it has something to do with my father.
I don't know anything about your father. I know
Good.
about your grandfather.
You know as about much as my father as I do.
Vincent, do they have a name? Names are important when it comes to these kinds of things.
They didn't tell me one when I was in my dream, and I'm not sure I'm inclined to believe the one that they gave me before, but...
Okay.
They called themselves Carson. They were somewhat of an elven individual.
Thank you for
Seems
sharing.
to be things going on that I may or may not even believe. So they seem to be more from some form of servant to nobility of some sort.
If I have extra time, would you let me do research and see if I can find anything?
If you want to, I'd say focus on your own thing for right now. I think my grandfather's assassin and your weird thing is probably more precedent than this right now.
Well, hers is with her. It's more of an interpersonal problem. The other one is something I can do on my free time.
If you wish, I prefer people not to go snooping around my family business, though.
No, I meant more just looking into books and things and anything. Nothing to do with personal stuff.
Do you have any suggestions for what I would read up on to find this individual? They were an elven man and they had the name Carson.
I'm not entirely sure the nature of the bond or why they showed up to you. Considering I have two entities living in my head that have own at least part of my soul, I'll probably go down that route and do some research there and figure out if it's similar to that. Go down that vein.
Let's hope not, dear. My soul is my own for now.
Does anybody else have any questions for me in this moment?
Why couldn't you tell I was dying?
I haven't had someone die on me with a bond yet, but I couldn't tell anything was happening. I was I was actually standing on the walls of the graveyard to the northeast of Storm's End, sending out harpoons towards the Whitewater Quay.
Is that something that gods have in the repertoire? They can just sense if people are dying within their bonds, or?
It depends on
general?
I imagine Merkel probably could. I imagine Kellenbor probably could. A lot of gods that deal with death and the transition and the passage. But I got stars and dreams. And underdogs. It's my favorite one.
I don't want to sound accusing. I'm really asking because I don't 100% understand godhood.
I don't blame you. I don't necessarily think we do either. Wasn't always a god, but I am now.
Well, and Vincent will put his plate down and kind of sit, put his feet back up on the table. Just means you're closer to us.
You were
Probably better
mortal?
that way.
You were
Yeah,
mortal before you were a god?
At one point. It was easier in ways, harder in others. But I touched on some stuff that other gods didn't like, I guess. Maybe it was revenge, I don't know. But the Greek gods can be assholes, so let's make sure to stay away from them much we can.
Okay.
Ian, you've been pretty quiet. Are you worried about this killing you speak of?
Yeah. I mean, the city's not really safe for like a lone goblin who doesn't really have any skills.
I might be able to call in a favor to a friend. You can meet him today. You go to the art fair. His name is Alexei. He's one of the guards for the Deanery. He's
Also-
got connections. I can have him see if they can keep their eyes and ears out for this individual. I can't see a reason why Alexei wouldn't want to help someone who needed help. So,
Okay.
regardless of monsters and stuff.
Also, after the festival, we can go to my pom-pom's house. They're probably going to want to see me because I went to Mama Mal's house upset, and they're going to talk. And the reason I didn't go to Pom-Pom's house is Pom-Pom is all about immediate action. And I don't think that's what was needed right now because I had to come here.
Should we keep the fact that Lavos has premonitions about the future within the family, though?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think other gods might want to use it against us.
I just told Mama Mal I had a bad dream, which is not a lie.
That's totally fine, dear. I was just double checking for the future.
Mm-hmm.
Or
Well,
go ahead, Kelly.
One last thing,
I have a-
Lavos.
no, I'll let you
I-
go, Kelly.
I forgot some of the imagery that you saw during the rank blocker vision. One thing was a candle. What were the other things?
There was a
Snake in a
serpent
vial.
and a vial.
Okay. Well, the vial makes sense if killing's related to some sort of potion making.
Is there like any type of like godly or guild symbol that involves that iconography?
A vial, a serpent, and a
Candle.
candle. None in combination of any of those. In instance, the only thing that you can really necessarily think of recently. Let me actually look at the.
Can I get
Everybody-
clarification?
Just one moment. Jojo, go ahead and roll religion, and then Vincent, you may go ahead.
Clarification. During last session, because I specifically wrote it down, you said snake. Now you're saying serpent. They are different in my mind, so
That's
What
fine.
one is it?
In this instance, snake or serpent doesn't make a difference.
so wiggle worm.
But wiggle worm, yeah. Well, it's danger
Long
noodle.
noodle thing.
Yeah, for sure. Snake is better. We'll stick with snake.
Serpents are also aquatic, where snakes are not. So I just wanted to make sure.
Don't you bring your animal knowledge in me?
So that's some science. Holy shit!
That's
I
some
didn't know that.
science garbage. I'm here about gods. No, I'm just kidding. No, that is all good stuff. Religion 18.
Aye.
I think serpent's more lore because like there's water snakes, but that's just saying.
There's also water mobbits. In regards to your religion check, you don't discern that any godly symbol seems to like correlate to these. There's absolutely none that involves all three. And though there are potentially some gods that hold serpents or snakes in their iconography, none necessarily that reside within the city, save for one. A god who lives in the Deanery. His name is Baska. He has a snake coiled around a greatsword. That is his symbol.
Okay.
Killian, do you mind spending 10 minutes with me? And Vincent will be like, Parker. He'll yell out into the air, just assuming he'll show up.
Paka runs out with his lizlets, kind of just like as they circle around and hold, stand behind his legs. He's like, yeah. He's kind of wearing just like a loose
You
fitting
didn't have
shirt.
a bad dream last night, did you?
No.
Do you mind passing me my sketchbook and pencil?
turns and just tears into the back room. The listlets like fall down on their butts and slowly begin to roll back and forth on their tails as they like take the tails, bite on them, and just begin to roll. And then Paco appears with your sketchbook and hands it to you.
Thank you, dear. You'll turn towards Killian. Do you want to give me a description of Killian in regards to yourself? Height, color. I'll make a rendition of him to give to Alexi.
Sure. Yeah, I can do that. So he is equally short, like pretty much the same height as Killian. He has kind of like I imagine kind of like an almost like Friar Tuck, like bowl cut sort of thing, like bald on the top, and then the hair just kind of like flows down to like about here-ish.
It's somewhat of a unique haircut, so it'll be good.
Yeah. Kind of like just like greasy hair, like doesn't really take care of himself. He doesn't have as much modeling as Killian. He's just kind of the same color of green, but like almost purple, like bags under his eyes.
Okay.
And he doesn't have like the front teeth. He's just got like kind of just basic, kind of somewhat gnarled teeth throughout, all different shapes and sizes.
As a 3D artist, when you were like, he doesn't have as much modeling as Killian, I was like, yeah, he just has a reused base mesh. He's pretty low poly. The hair they just cut off of Friar Tuck and pasted on. It was a very quick job.
What do I need to roll anything for this, Adrian, or?
I don't think that's all very unique information, and writing down the notes, that's fine. I don't think you would recognize the description.
No, I'm drawing a picture of Killeg.
Oh,
like an artist rendition.
Like an artist rendition.
Yeah, go ahead and in this, because you don't have like time bearing down on you, I would say roll in this instance to match someone's information and intelligence check with proficiency.
Would it be more insight for this, or is it intelligence?
I give you guidance.
Insight's like determining motives. I think intelligence is literally to be like, okay, this feature and this feature and this feature. Place them together as well as possible.
Sorry, so what am I rolling?
Intelligence with proficiency.
And guidance.
And guidance.
Nat 20, 25.
Literally perfect. Like there's even some cross-hatching in there, and it's done very quickly. And as the image is shown to you, you're like, that's exactly it.
That's him. Yeah. You have you seen him before?
No, dear.
Holy shit.
Wow.
That's very well done.
Thank you.
How much are your commissions?
My commissions? Well, I was going to do some family portraits today, so if we have time, I'll throw one in for you, Jojo. I'm free on the house.
Nice.
For your first one.
You see Lavos is like shoring up his clothing. Just be like, I don't want to be drawn. Gotta be drawn in fancy clothes.
Yeah, he'll take the drawing he'll rip the page out of the sketchbook and kind of like fold it up, but not so it ruins the drawing, just around it. Put it in his like inside of his lapel and hand the sketchbook and stuff and supplies back to Packer to put back in his pack.
Lavo says, if you want, I can go to the Windwalkers and get that printed out and start posting notices.
Windwalkers, that was Sylvia's group, right?
Yeah. I think that's probably for the best.
I'm gonna need to give something to Killian, or to Lexi as well. Are you able to have photocopies ready by this afternoon?
Yeah, I'll go to the printing press and get some leaflets done up, and I'll meet you at the park with those.
Okay, he'll take it out of his lapel and hand it over.
Okay. Thank you, Lavos. How much will that cost?
It's coming out of the family fund, don't worry.
Okay.
Now, from this, and you guys hear on the outside, a quick ping on the window, just you look back and you see nothing. Vincent, you feel this kind of like tingle in the back of your head. Roll a wisdom saving throw. But then as the spell begins to take hold upon you, it immediately stops.
So don't roll a wisdom saving
So
throw,
you don't need to
just
roll.
auto
wisdom saving
succeed.
throw. There is a it seems like something was about to cast a spell on you, and as the magic began to take hold, spell was canceled.
Okay, I just want to see if I would have passed. Oh yeah,
A
it
pathetic
wouldn't have
spell.
even affected him.
He threw it away.
Should I open it?
Is it Mo?
It could be actually. And he'll look towards that direction and send a message to Mo specifically and see if it goes through. Dia, are you hiding back there?
I don't like being outside of the manor, master.
And I'll send another message being like, if you ever cast a spell on me again. I guess I wouldn't know. Sorry, that's a bit of metagaming. I ignore that. And and I'll look over to Joe. Yeah, it's Mo. Do you want to let him in?
Yeah. So walk over and open the door.
Enters in. Immediately switches from this just like imp form into a rat, scurries through the threshold, looks around, and then turns back into an imp and is like, coast is clear. He begins to approach. He's got a little backpack on, and despite his like just gnarled figure, it's actually slightly cute. Then he makes his way, hops up onto the couch, and just sits down on the top of it.
It's good timing, dear. I don't care if the whole party knows about this, but what did you find out?
Right.
There's a little plate of food towards him.
Considering whether to thank you and then doesn't. And then just like,
Yeah, cool.
I went to Regis, but there isn't much. I found him. He's weird. He's kind of rat-like as a man. Continues eating. There is some. The information is the location of the family is known. The house. It seems as though you have been taking regular carriages to the outskirts of Old Town. There's 5 family members known, including a halfling or a gnome out of the city, a short man. The family has completed a dangerous mission and is under a watchful eye, as they have said a new god has arrived within the city. There's no particular danger out. It doesn't seem like the family is marked for death or anything. And there's nothing that's particularly threatening happening right now. More. He hands you back the plate.
Yeah.
Any of the family members specifically being targeted? I know myself, I have one out, so I'm just curious if there's any information on that.
If that's true, then it must be personal, because there is no public hits at the very least.
Okay. I look towards the group. I sent Mo on a mission to talk to Regis, gain some information, but apparently we're not as popular as I was hoping.
Surprised they know about the halfling family member.
Lavos is like, I may have bragged about that a lot.
Oh.
A few times.
I was gonna be
That
like,
was my first
usually-
family member.
Depending on the halfling, they're usually not quiet either, so.
We have another family member?
Yeah, we
Uh,
have
two.
Lydia, you remember?
2 more, yeah. We got a, his name is, Lavos, remember, so I'm just forgetting. We got 2. There's
Something Farwalker.
a young boy, Shorin Firewalker, and a young boy who will at current remain nameless.
You've already told us who that is. You bound a child. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're both young men.
No, Shorin's his name's Firewalker. He spent some time abroad.
Oh, okay.
He's been around Arborea quite a bit. Right now, he's actually just to the south, I believe.
And this other child is in
Unnamed for
protection.
Yeah, for his own protection, you know. His family, his blood family will help him out and guide him along. And when he's old enough, he'll come along.
Is there a reason
Sure.
we can't know about him? Just
Yeah.
in case he comes?
If he shows up, then I'll let you know. But he specifically requested I keep things a little bit under the cuff. So, well, him and a very scary looking swordsman.
Okay.
If you don't want to share, then I guess that's that.
That is that. But I'm not lying to you. I don't want to lie to you. I just have been requested, so leave that one where it lay at the moment. Now,
An NDA.
Do you mind if we, I have some stuff I need to do this morning before we go to the park, so do you mind if I head out now?
should we have Mo with you or someone?
I have the sending stones, but yeah, Mo, do you want to follow me throughout the city today? Stay out of the cover.
Oh, of course. It is my favorite thing to be outside of the manor.
Well, now that it's been furnished, I'm sure you'll find somewhere to pick your room, if I permitted.
Full room. I expected in corner of an attic.
I told you. We'll treat you well if you do us good.
He takes the potatoes. He just hops off, and you see Paca just kind of watches him pass by, and the kids are like staring. He just kind of like, that's Mo. Mo. They begin to chase him. And he's like, fuck no, and just flies off. Potatoes drop around, and the kids like run around and gather them, and they're like, Dad.
We'll stand up and head towards the front. Mo, we're heading out.
Places the plate down, lands, and just begins to trudge forward. Yes, master.
I'll hand him over the sending stone. If anything happens to me and I'm unable to use this myself, and any form of harm towards me, in all forms, send a message. Tell them that I need assistance in our location. Vincent will try to be as specific as possible with this command.
Understood.
And he'll head out, and assuming that Mo goes invisible.
Yes, he does. Everything being worn and carried just kind of dissipates. The world kind of like bends around him for a brief moment, and then kind of bends back and moves away, almost like vapor.
What time is this children's fair?
How early? It's supposed to be like a little bit after morning.
It's pretty early morning right now, but I believe the fair does take place in the morning, so that would basically be like the slot. If there's something you guys wanted to attempt to accomplish on the way there, it would be quick, or we can just kind of mention that it is happening.
I have a quick thing I need to do, but you guys feel free.
We'll meet you there.
Alrighty. As you guys separate and you begin to head towards the park in Ilmater's district.
I wanted to say that I did grab a few books that were the same thickness and were not very good quality. Like they weren't expensive books that are like similar to my book.
The Book of Shadows.
Yeah, and then when we get there, I'm gonna paint the covers all the same color and stick them all in my bag.
Tricky. Your messenger bag, I guess, yeah, it doesn't matter. It just has a weight limit. So as long as you're within that, then it can fit all the books. So I believe you are good.
I would only have done 4. So there was like 4 altogether. So there's 3 fake copies and 1 actual copy. And they all are the similar thickness. And I've all painted their covers blue.
Okay. I think the book is like a blue-white with kind of like this gold trim, which is totally doable with the paints that Vincent had purchased for this event. As you, it also has like the celestial writing on the top of it, and the cover for the most part is pretty bare, but it's let me go ahead and, do you have painter supplies proficiency?
No, but I'm not really making this look good. I'm just covering the whole entire thing, the spine. It's just blue. That's it. That's all I want to do.
Okay. Go ahead and roll just a straight dexterity check. And Vincent, as everyone separates, what do you do?
On my way over, I'm going to make a quick pit stop at I can't tell by the layout. Where is it? Where's Tristan's place again in Ishtar's district?
What was it called again?
Elegant Alterations.
It is right here.
Okay. So he will actually head to the Black Sheep because it's here. And then on his way towards Ilmater's district, because he's going to head there, he'll stop by the, Tristan's place because it should be open by then.
You enter into Elegant Alterations and you see Tristan, who's kind of in the back. Nobody's really here right now. And as you approach, he's like, "Oh, Vincent, it's good to see you."
He would have instructed Mo to just wait outside, by the way.
As you wish, Master. I love taking orders and being unable to complete my previous ones. Would you like your sending stone back?
I think make a good point, dear. Come in, actually. Everything you're to hear in here is to never to leave that room.
Understood.
And Vincent will open the door and he'll make it so that when he opens doors, it's enough for Mo to come in behind him.
You enter in and Tristan's he's standing and he's like, "I had a few questions that I wanted to ask you. Do you know how I can get people to just stop?"
He'll put a hand up. Back room, dear. We need to talk privately.
Someone enters into the back or from the front door, and then he's like, "Just one moment, love," and turns and begins to make his way into the back. Closes the door behind the two of them. He's like, "Oh my god, they just don't stop." All right, how can I help you?
Are we in a private area now?
You are now basically in his work area, which is all just clothing everywhere and mannequins, and it's very cramped and kind of warm and has this spice to it, almost hanging in the air.
He'll reach around and just hold his violin in his hand, so he has it there. He doesn't need to play it. And as he's holding it, he's gonna cast a message towards him. I'll use this just so it's a little bit more secretive. Just whisper back, and we're the only ones that can hear it. I have something to ask you, Tristan.
Of course. Anything I can help you with?
You know that I know what you are, right?
Yes.
And so that you'll help me, right? In regards to people like you. Hopefully.
Of course. Is there something pressing or something odd that happened?
One of your kind is out to assassinate me, and I want to know why, and I want to know if you have capabilities of seeing who this person might be.
There aren't very many of us in the city. And the only one that I know of who would potentially offer something along the lines of assassination would be one Emir Dillon. A young woman, somewhat impetuous, but I don't picture her being as someone who would attack you randomly. There must be some kind of reason.
Well, that's for me to know, I guess. I don't really have a reason to tell you exactly what's going on, but know that it's purely selfish reasons on their end. I didn't do anything wrong.
I could potentially attempt to arrange a meeting, but I would need to know.
I would just like to know a little bit about them, dear. I know they're bonded at the very least. Who's their family, do you know? And what rank are they?
Yes, Emir. One moment.
Emir Dillon.
I knew it.
You didn't like the fancy elven man tailor dude?
Sorry?
Oh, Candace is just like, I knew it, so I was saying that to her.
I knew it. I was pretty sure that the fake Seelan was Amir, who is a character I played in a one shot we did.
Oh.
It says Emir. She's an assassin. She's in with the Cyric family. So she's a rogue, I believe, second rank, as far as I recall. I believe she underwent some kind of some grand experience to allow herself to grow. The nature of this, it strikes me as odd. Emir, she's somewhat of she's found an altruistic streak as of recent. She's been saving our kind. She personally had a hand in helping me get into the city.
Well, it doesn't mean that if someone paid her enough, she'd probably do the job, I'm assuming. Your kind doesn't necessarily, or at least, sorry, not your kind. Assassins usually don't take things personally.
People have called us much worse. I take no offense, Vincent, of course. No, typically not. There's a code and kind of an understanding among these things, but she's very professional. That is certain. I don't know what what would drive her attention away from her current aim. She seemed to have been rather of one mind the last time I saw her, but if she's taken an assassination attempt out towards you, she's very secretive. But she has so far accomplished her means, as far as I know.
Vincent's just gonna kind of stand back and kind of eye Tristan up and down a bit, trying to be somewhat intimidating, but not in a super aggressive way. You're not going to divulge any of this information to her, are you?
Vincent, I think we're well past that level of suspicion. We're friends. I'm not going to. You can roll inside if you wish. He seems to be completely forthright. His motives he seems to be worried in regards to what's been going on, and you can see in his mind there's kind of like a conflict of interests.
I hold no ill will towards your kind. Everyone's kind of equal in my mind, but just it's a sensitive topic, so I needed to make sure. Thank you, dear. At the very least, this gives me some bit of information. Do you have anything that would be useful? Anything that... Is she the type, if I bribed her, would she leave me alone? Or you said once she sticks to a mission, she tends to want to complete it.
She is curious. She has been known to kill those who have hired her. It has happened in the past. She is fiercely loyal to her family, the Sirik. She is often seen in her main kind of form of choice, which is a leather-clad woman. She has somewhat darkish brown hair, almost black svelte face. I think I might actually have an etching. One moment. He comes back with like an old and faded piece of paper with a drawing of a young woman.
Look like the silent staring woman.
The woman
no,
who's
quite different.
It's all connected.
Oh my god, the DM only wrote one story.
All of us have the
same
same backstory. That's so weird.
Oh wow, that's so weird and convenient and easy. Adrian definitely did that because it's easier. No, it does not seem like that individual. But he produces this picture and shows it to you. Candace, would you want to give a brief description?
Oh, well. Let me open up that Pinterest board. Yeah, basically, as you described, she the eyes are a little thinner, and strong eyebrows, short, dark brown, almost black hair, sort of like in a bob that sort of is a sharp angle towards her jaw. Pretty nondescript look, which is what an assassin would probably want to go for, huh? But yeah, just looks like human, female, pretty tan skin, dark hair, brown eyes.
Well,
but carrying through with what we'd said before, she has been known to default on jobs, and she does seem to have some manner of streak of altruism as of recently. If you were to talk to her, maybe she might actually be akin to, she might If meet in a public place, I doubt she would kill you.
Hmm.
She does everything very premeditated with thought.
Is she sympathetic towards her own kind?
Very much so.
Okay. I will head out. And in regards to, he'll gesture outside to the, customers he has. If you have trouble with them, dear, you might just want to hire an assistant. That way you can stay all your days back here and they deal with the shop front.
Oh, that sounds like paradise. Thank you,
Except
Vincent.
you'll have to deal with them. So make sure it's someone you like to be around.
Oh my god, and to have someone within the that's like a customer who never leaves. No, I'm not doing that.
I'm sure there's someone that, sparks your fancy. Just keep an eye out. Instead of avoiding people, try to find something you like about them.
I said, this is a lot for me. Is still considering the concept of someone being around at all times. It's like, I might close the shop early today. But for now, opens the door. Hello, love. What is it I can do for you? And he begins to stride his way through.
Vincent leaves, and again, leaving a little bit of berth behind him during door openings to allow Mo to come through.
Kind of just along the roof and makes his way towards the door. He says, I heard absolutely nothing.
Good. It's a good test anyways.
Excellent secrecy, master. Can I have a large
Will I roll
room in the manor?
insight? Is he bullshitting?
No, he's 100% just trying to suck up to you. Your minimum insight would catch that. He wants a big room in the manor. But as the camera pulls away, we reconvene in Ilmater's district within a small open parkway where you do not see 15 tents. You do not see a massive ice cream stall pulled by goats. You do not see fire dancers and a stage set up in the corner, nor a kraken placed upon the ground, but a modest and comfortable set of 20 easels. You do see Alexei and Lily. Alexei is wearing his knight armor that he has from the Denery, a member of the Order of 10. And Lily wearing the finest dress that she has at her disposal, which in this case is an incredibly fine dress. White, puffy, similar to the one in the dream, but a little bit less fantasy. And as they stand, Alexei and Lily see everyone approaching, and Alexei kind of begins to look over excitedly and marches up to you all. He says, hello, Vincent's family, yes?
Yeah, hey.
Right.
Hello.
Oh, I've been told so much and so little about you. But it's fantastic to finally meet you. My name is Alexei. He goes to shake each of your hands.
Okay.
It's I'm so excited to be able to meet you finally. Vincent's a great friend of mine. We've known each other for as long as history's been ticking. But not that long. But I'm a little bit nervous.
Yeah, Rosa had a pretty similar nervousness about her. Is there something about Vincent we should know?
Oh, I imagine. I'm
Any
thinking he
embarrassing
probably...
stories he'd kick your ass for telling us?
Probably. 1 or 2, maybe. Well, ass-kicking,
Not
it is
really
what it
thing.
is.
I think they're used to being the focus of Vincent's affections, and now that there's other people, they might feel mildly threatened.
Effective. A little bit, I suppose. I'm a little bit threatened by you lot. You seem to be taking my best friend away from me. How could you? This is my fiance. He stands and points back. You see a woman, long blonde hair, pulled back into kind of 2 braids that sit over the front of the chest. She's wearing this white dress and seems very out of place, but it's early spring or mid-spring, so it's quite nice out at current. A cold breeze finds just a little bit of discomfort, but as she looks at you, she says, "It is so nice to meet you. My name is Lily Blankhaus. You may call me Lily White. It is a pleasure. I've met Vincent a few times, quite a few times. He is a wonderful person, but it is nice to make the acquaintance of his family members." And at this point, Vincent, you probably arrive, having basically moved on the same pathways.
He'll walk up behind and just kind of, oh, you guys have all been acquainted. Neat. Introductions that don't need to be on my part then. And
Nope.
He'll look around. It's about what I thought it would be. Good. Sorry for interrupting. Where were you guys?
I was just talking. Alexi was just sharing an embarrassing story, right?
Yes,
Where are you?
about the
And
time when
Vincent will look over.
we went for that early morning run down towards the pier. Do you remember that? You could barely keep up, your abs were burning, and I was already on the ground. It was an embarrassing story about me, funny enough. Specifically about me, actually. Because I remember running and just thinking, wow, how could Vincent be so much faster than I am when I wear all that armor and now I'm all but naked?
Jojo gives him a really strong pat on the back. Yeah, that one.
Just strong hands.
Does he always lay it on this thick when he's lying?
Yes, dear.
That's a real story. Lily's just sitting back and smiling, watching this floundering.
It is fine. To be honest, I don't. Well, I would care if you shared certain information, but I don't think you're capable of bad-mouthing me, Alexi, just as I'm not capable of bad-mouthing you either.
I like to find the good in people.
Give him, the bro handshake. It's good to see you this morning.
Just do. It's like
Sorry.
15 steps long.
No, he
That's
just
fine.
goes up and holds his arm out, and they do the class thing, and he'll lean in and give him a
Yeah.
hug.
You 100% see that he wants it to be like 15 long. And it's
Doesn't-
much more
he
like...
does not
Two
not-
steps.
not-
Yeah.
Clap on the back.
And then Lexi's just
Done.
standing there like, oh.
One day.
Well, if you guys don't mind, I could use a little help setting up just some basics. I'll look around. Is Paka here yet?
You look over and you actually see Paka hauling. But he's kind of holding up his own pack, and the lizlets are kind of spinning around his legs. He's moving in a similar fashion to the dream, in the same way you had seen him before, but holding something different. The lizlets are here, and as they're moving through, you can't help but get that literally holy shit, that's the exact stride from the dream. Just
Deja
like,
vu.
yeah,
Wow.
that strange deja vu immediately
Deja vu.
sets in upon you.
I've been in this place.
And Paka's just drifting.
Is,
It zooms in on
Paka,
Paka's face, and he's just like this.
Do you have the small table and the blankets in there with the art supplies?
He kind of stops and turns and comes up towards you, and he's like,
It's the fold out one, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I got that one.
here's the paints. Reaches up and grabs his backpack. It's got a
Hold
big
on to
box.
them. We'll put them on the table.
Okay. All right.
And do you guys mind helping us set up? We usually put them in order. The kids come by. The thing.
Okay.
I still. And Vincent thinks for a second because he was just going to be like, as I said in the dream, but he's not allowed to talk about this out loud. He stops for a second and then looks. I'd like to see what you all have, to paint as well. So don't go wandering off. I'd like us all to stay together today.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay,
And
Paka, give
he'll
me all the
turn
heavy
to
shit.
Lexi. Make sure you allow and he'll go over. Oh, sorry, Lily. And he'll walk over. And he'll give her a kiss on each of her cheek and give her a hug as well. It's been a busy morning for me, love.
Oh, please do not worry. It is so delightful to see. Every time you two are together, it's like just the most fun thing to watch him prance around. And it is, of course, very lovely to see you as always, Vincent.
And I always enjoy your help during these things. And your service towards this is greatly appreciated. And he'll give her a nice smile.
This park has also been quite updated since the last time I had seen it. It's good to see that the beautification committee has been working well. It's been a lot of work, but I'm glad that we can help you out in these matters as well. She kind of looks at you and you see she's looking over and sees Paka running around with the lizlets, and she's like, "Can I meet with him?"
Yes, dear. Paka, Lizlets, do you mind coming over and introducing yourself to Lily here?
You feel a little tug on your back.
I can't look at my back, so I kind of turn around, but do I see anyone?
You see one of the lizlets kind of looking at you, and he's just like licks his eye and then stares up towards you and just kind of waits.
They don't have names yet, the smaller ones. They have to wait until they're able to give themselves ones, but we usually just refer to them as the lizlets. They're quite cute.
As all of you are keeping a weather eye out at all times, go ahead and roll perception. The lizlet kind of looks up towards you and just kind of opens their mouth and goes like, ah. And Paca's like,
They're finding their voice.
and picks him up, puts him on his shoulders. Jojo, you kind of get offloaded with Paca's backpack and you grab it and it's like 280 pounds.
Yeah.
And you just kind of begin to move. Jojo, you take note, there is a small boy who is like fast approaching the group. Is like
Is it the dragon?
He's got a little. No, it's not the dragon. He's not
I'm
out for
so
blood
invested.
yet. This kid is running forward. He's got like a little paper boy hat on, like a little pomp on the top of it, wearing a small kind of like tweed vest, and his pants pulled really high up with short shorts and these boots. And he's just kind of making his way through. You don't recognize him. Actually, no. You've been around here a little bit. Go ahead and roll history.
Well, I didn't know if he was like, he came here from last year. Obviously the kid's age, but I didn't know if I recognized them.
Yeah, go ahead and roll history in this instance. Yeah, I think you recognize he's got a similar kind of look and feel to him that you feel you've seen him somewhere before, but you don't necessarily know who this is.
Okay, kid, where are you going?
Hello, sir. Sorry, I didn't mean to bother you. Is there something I can do for you?
You can do art, and he hands him some art supplies.
Oh, thank you. I've been here before, actually. I'm aware of the general sense. And he looks over towards Vincent, and he's like, I was wondering, do you know, Vincent, you were coming from that direction, and you're holding a very heavy pack.
Do I know Vincent?
Yeah. Could you introduce me?
Yeah.
All right, cool. Thank you. These are nice paints, by the way.
Yeah, they're Vincent's. I don't know.
They look very expensive. Opens it and looks at them and closes it again. Paca kind of approaches. He's like,
They are very expensive.
he grabs them, and holds onto them, and just stares at him, like death stares. He's like, hello. Paca's like, hi. Immediately perks up again. It's nice to meet you, sir. And the three of you begin to move up. The whole group basically together at this point. This little boy kind of like approaching, looking around.
I passed the little lizlet over to Lily so she can just hold it.
She's literally just like, it's so small. Holding this little lizlet in their hand, and it just like plops down. And just,
It likes yellow, dear. I don't know if you have any flowers on.
oh my goodness. I will invest in yellow. The boy approaches like, hello. It is my utmost pleasure to meet you all. I was hoping that I wouldn't mess this up, Beans. I would like to offer my services to you if you have need of them. I mean no offense, but
Is he just saying this to the group, or?
he's looking at you, but he's kind of speaking in general terms towards everyone. He says, I find myself, my mum always told me it's important to be straightforward, so I find myself in dire straits and rock bottom. And I mean no offense when I say this, but it's similar to what you will all like. And he like pauses for like applause almost, and he's like, and I was thinking I could help you in any way that you need.
You're an underdog, is what you're saying.
The name's Bean.
Bean.
Bean, just Bean is fine.
Sorry, I rolled. I should have waited for you to confirm. I'm always insight trigger happy. I just want to see, is anything, first of all, is he genuine or is he bullshitting very well, or is he
Under the influence of someone else.
No, it's just like
Is he a changeling assassin in disguise?
Yeah, I'm just wondering, like, I don't know if changelings can take on the form of kids or they need to be somewhat around their same size. But again, he has no idea anything about this. So
Matilda would be aware that the size change, you can basically lose a foot in one direction or the other. But you probably cannot become a 4-foot child.
Okay.
In this instance, as
he still wants to know if he's genuine. He's still a little like.
I would say reroll the die. Any uncalled for check is a natural 1, but I'll allow reroll this instance. Even better. He seems genuine. He seems very nervous. It does seem like as he approaches you, you've kind of like in interviews, you've practically seen people like this that are just like, my life depends on this interview. How are you? Says, it's very nice to meet you, sirs.
It's nice to meet you too, and you're correct in, being forthright. I enjoy that in people, so thank you for that.
Beans, you are a small child. And usually small children do not have much skills and are more a burden than they are a help. So please tell us why we should consider you.
That's very true, and it's very astute of you to notice that, actually. But unsimilarly to other children, I have lived quite a full life, being kind of a go for things. I've performed many activities and am regularly doing cultural work outside of the work hours of the day. I'm a go-getter, and my greatest weakness is that I work too hard.
Feels like this kid read like a book on interviews.
A little bit.
You have really understand the protocol of a job interview. I will commend you on that. You did your research.
Thank you. I've been through a few of them.
Beans, what exactly do you want to do in service? Like, why this? Why now?
I'm actually just the one bean. My mum calls me, it's like, she says I'm a little bean sprout. She's always shooting up, so that's why I'm bean. To be honest, we're just very poor. And I've been hearing rumors on the street about the new family, and I heard that it actually tied into you. And I know that you've been doing this art festival every year and music as well on the off season. So I thought I would jump in on the opportunity to offer my services.
Vincent thinks on it for a second. So you wish to volunteer for today to help?
Anything, sir. Anything that you think I could do for you. And all of you, you're all sirs.
Parker, do you want to pass me... What are your specialties? Do you know how to draw?
I can do anything you need me to. I
Parker,
can draw.
Give him a sketch pad and some paints. I want to see. He'll stand there waiting astutely.
He's going to roll.
He's
in this instance,
giving the kid a chance.
He's nervous, so he's going to roll Constitution.
Killian wants to walk up to the kid after that's done.
23. It's not bad. As he does a sketch, he's like, typically I start with some kind of a medium, but in this instance, I think I'm going to go with the Lady Lily. And he sits back. He's like, I heard your name in the distance. I hope you don't mind. No offense. And just begins to like attempt to draw her. And it's a children's drawing, but it has a lot of potential.
Mm-hmm.
And he kind of like produces it and flips it around, and it's just like, I got the force and the line weight very good, and the legs, I think.
Vincent would take the sketchbook and kind of look it over.
She has like a spiked pauldron that she doesn't actually have, but it's like that artistic expression.
Alexi, can you pull up another chair next to the face painting booth? I'm going to need help regardless, so this helps.
I do have to immediately work out my pay.
He waits to see what his salary recommendations are.
As you wait, he sits back and sees that you're waiting and is like, dang it. For the day, let's say 3 gold pieces.
Looking back at the sketchbook, does Vincent think that he could...
I will just say it's a ludicrous.
I know.
As the typical laborer makes 3 gold like a week.
No, I understand that, but I mean, like, Vincent at his age, would he have asked for more?
Ooh.
That's what he's checking out.
It's for Vincent at his age. That's like it's a minor that's an exploit, but it's not something you did all the time. You may have done it every now and then when you were like, I might be able to get this.
Well, I feel like Vincent would have gone for 5 gold, is what I meant for that.
That's cool.
3 gold it is, though. Next time you could have probably asked for more. Work down to it.
I wouldn't want to impose, sir, but I will take your knowledge and your wisdom into my very vessel. Thank you, sir.
And he begins to move towards the area. Matilda, you had your hand raised.
Oh, whoops.
I think Killian
Killian?
wanted to go first, but I'm not sure about the order.
Oh, I forgot to use the hand raise thing.
Oh, sorry, that drew me out. We will go Killian first, and then we'll jump into Matilda.
Okay. Killian, as Bean is, getting ready to sit at a table or whatever, Killian just wants to like tap him on the shoulder and say, Bean, what do you like to do?
Oh, anything really that helps me and my mum. We don't have too many opportunities in the city, so anything that helps me, kind of lighten the load. So
Right,
this
sorry.
this is my favorite thing to do.
Okay. Pretend you could get paid to do whatever you wanted to do. What would you want to do?
I want to go in the dungeon.
He stares
You
up
wanna
towards
be
the
a-
tower.
You want to be a diver,
Yeah,
so you want to learn how to fight.
I mean, I guess if I could help people instead of fighting, I'd probably prefer that.
Well, there's a lot of ways you can help people without having to go into the dungeon. So what would you want to do to help people?
Ooh. A job that could help me make sure that everyone is fed. Maybe a chef.
Okay. Killian is going to just take a little book and not kind of jot that down, and say, after this, if you do a good job, I know somewhere that I could try to help you learn to do that stuff. It probably wouldn't pay very much, but it would help you get kind of, the experience to do something like that.
Oh, that would be amazing, sir.
I assume you live in the rack?
Right, yeah, just to the north, right in the Black Rock.
All right. Well, I'll figure something out. But let's see how you do today.
Thank you for the opportunity.
He sits down and it's just like, children or adults. Children have smaller faces. I could do more of those. He's calling out and waiting, looking around, waiting for anyone to approach the face painting booth. Or face painting kind of just easel. As you guys look onwards towards this individual and the day begins, everyone with a weather eye continues looking out for any of these kind of strange happenings. Matilda, what was
During
it that you wished to do?
During that conversation where they were talking with Killian and Vincent, Matilda was on the lookout. We were already being hyper vigilant, but she was also looking to see if there was a gaggle of children that were watching him do this interaction, or there was an adult that was watching, because sometimes kids that come up with sob stories either have a gang or they have a handler that's using them to get money for things, for sob stories.
In your glancing, go ahead and roll perception to find.
I want to guide myself if I'm allowed.
I like the fact that you're you can always guide as long as you have the time. You do see that there's a small group of children kind of who are arriving within the area, led by a single parent. There's about 3 of them, but they don't seem to be in any way connected to what's been going on.
Okay.
Relatively sparse. A lot of people have been moving in and out, but no one's paying any particular attention to Bean.
Mm-hmm.
You do note, however, that when like he was walking up, people were like walking by and just kind of gave him a nod, and he was like, "Hello," and just moved past. He does seem to be somewhat known. Aside from that, not particularly seems to be premeditated. And as Bean begins to paint, in kind of like testing out the waters and trying to figure this out, and sits with Killian briefly.
I feel like one of the lizlets runs over and he starts painting.
Like, probably walks over and then like brings the head down and the eyes, and his pocket's just like, he wants a stripe. Goes to like paint very like quietly and slowly, and then Alyssa's just like immediately bites onto the things. No, stop! Stop! How do I do this? This is not a good first day. And as he like picks up the small lizard and is just like chewing on the paintbrush briefly, and Paca's just like, we can eat anything. At this point, the camera begins to pull back and takes a wide sweep over the park. Alexei and Lily are kind of sitting down and enjoying a brief picnic in a small break before jumping up for more posing, waiting for people to approach. Vincent, looking over to the north, you don't even see that restaurant, the one that the figure was sitting at. That restaurant is not there. It does not exist within this district. And Matilda, you are kind of keeping a weather eye, looking out and about. With your previous perception check, you spot a familiar individual standing just at the edge of the park. On the other side, there's like you see a stone courtyard just to the southeast of where you are. In the north of the courtyard, there is a tavern and an exterior seating arrangement. There's 2 or 3 people there, one of which is the raven-haired woman who is sitting reading a newspaper, fresh off the presses. And that is where we will end today's session. So we are going on break. Thank you all for watching. And until next time, thank you for joining in the Dragonleaf. I'll get that eventually.
Here we go again.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.
Hey guys.
Bye.
Bye.